research right now to figure out.
He said, I'm a little bit of everything. Cam knows people. Cam has resources.
Man, how about you throwing me under the bus and saying, "Oh, yeah, he was mad that people were let in late."
I sure did. I sure did tell on you, but it wasn't like I wasn't being malicious.
Right.
I just thought it was funny,
right?
That was a hill
Just
that you died on
the bus.
because he has no idea how, like, you're kind of principled, right? It's like the little finite things can drive you up the wall, and then 98% of the time you couldn't care less.
You know what's funny? I after that moment, I was like, man, like, am I wrong? Like, could I be wrong about this? And I may be wrong. Like the Kenny Chesney concert, going back to dating me, 2 weeks?
Yeah.
They may have actually had the doors open and the lines were just ridiculously long, and I just felt they didn't open the doors in time. I may have given them some unnecessary heat, but maybe necessary toward the fact that it took way too long to get into the building.
Yeah. How about last night's event? Were you
the Oscars?
I was almost last in line, and it moved fairly quick.
So when I got there, it was about 6 o'clock.
Yeah,
probably took me about 15 minutes to get through the line, to be honest.
So I was a little, and you know me, I'm not doing the whole schmoozing thing, right? So I didn't get there until
you should have had a great time for not wanting to do that.
6:35 I walked in, and then I saw the line and I was like, oh, poop. Like,
I gotta wait.
I may be in trouble. But guess who was right behind me? Tom Chattel. So I was like,
right.
Yep. Another nominee. He's by me. Yep. Another nominee came in behind me too. I was like,
okay, you're fine. Yeah. You're fine.
Yeah, you guys
was
are good.
Sam there? I didn't see Sam.
Sam McKeown?
Yeah, I didn't see him.
I didn't see Sam either. But I never went, literally. You know where our tables were?
Mm-hmm.
I never went to the left of those initial row of tables.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we were on the right. We walked in on the right, and there was our table on the right.
And I sat my little brown behind down. And outside of saying hi to the West Side table, Coach Woodard and Nebraska staff, your boy didn't move.
Man, congrats to Coach Woodard, too.
Yeah, he's
well-deserved.
He is a class act. Like,
even his speech,
kind of
unprepared,
have
fire.
Dude, I kind of have a man crush.
I mean, he makes you want to run through a wall.
Yeah, I think he's sensational. I told you one time we were in Birmingham. This was 2 years.
Sweet home Alabama.
No, we were in Atlanta. Maybe we were somewhere.
Sweet home
and
in Atlanta.
He was coming from the lake, and because he likes to fish, he's got a cabin, and so he came down a day late. And there's all these good games going on, right, all around us. It's a heck of a setup. Yeah, we're in the ATL. That's where it was, because they have a great facility. And he and I literally stood in the middle of like 8 courts and talked for like 40 minutes. Like, I missed all of Lob's games. Like, I wasn't even really paying attention, because that was one of those times where it's like, all right, I think I got the mental pen and paper out. And we got to talking about some deep stuff and school and kids, and
those conversations can keep you a while.
How he likes to be an admin and raising kids. I was like, I think I'm be better for this one. Yeah, like he's one of the people that I went to go say hello to. Like, I kind of crouched down and gave him the old back rub. He's like, DB, how you doing?
65?
No, he's older than that, maybe.
I could have sworn I heard 65 yesterday. And
maybe that's right. Because
no
we blew Tina Turner's age. He's been coaching for 41 years.
I know, but he just doesn't look like it.
No, believe me, I know. And he's more fit now. He looks more fit than he did like 5-6 years ago. Yeah. I'm like, but I told him it's the haircut. He has like the cool kid. He has like the cool kid haircut now. He's like, yeah.
Hey, how about him tossing around? It was either him or somebody later on that made reference to Coach Woodard. I think it was Woodard that said something.
Well, he didn't go third person, did he? Woodard talked about Woodard?
No, I'm trying to think if Woodard said it,
okay,
or if the other guy made reference to Woodard saying
what did he say? Who was the other guy?
Oh goodness, it was somebody that was talking about one of the teams in the. You were gone.
Yeah.
you had left a little bit early, talking about a Hall of Fame team, I think. And they had mentioned that, Coach Woodard up here, when he came up to receive his award, he had mentioned that that's important to have a supportive family, a supportive spouse when you do this for a long period of time. And I'm sitting in the chair like,
deja vu.
Yeah, what did we talk about on Wednesday? So the realities of high school coaching.
And the funny thing is you kind of came by that on a humbug, right? Just on nowhere. An accident.
Mm-hmm. And that was, kudos to Twitter for actually having this be something that interested me for the first time ever.
Hang on 1 second, please. K Bizzle. Is this clock thing going to deal you fits? Because you know I can't read. I see you moving this thing around.
I'm moving things a little bit. I'm getting organized.
All right. You've worked with me long enough to know. I'll just say whatever.
You're just watching the shape shift.
It's clock. Driving me bonkers. I'm like, what is he doing?
I'm sorry, I'm done.
No, it's okay because you have the temperament. Like he doesn't give a what. He's just going out there and a couple of tokies and he's good.
Goodness.
I told Cam I was going to get Cam a drink this morning.
It was like, might as well. It's Friday.
Cam's crazy.
Knocking back some tequilas in the AM.
So it's like he's like the anti-Shane. Shane is afraid of his shadow. Cam's like, bring it on.
What is he, a groundhog?
Okay, I gotta let you finish your story real quick because we got to get into something.
Where was I going with the story?
The story about
how I came across the high school coaching thing. Yeah. Twitter. Yeah, you know how there's a following side and a For You side, and I'm always on the For You side.
I told you sometimes you got to take a gander.
But hey, I would not have discovered those 8 things if I wasn't on the For You side. So it paid off. It really paid off this time.
Don't buy this flavor.
I thought that said aloha at first, and I'm like, well, Shane could have said that on Wednesday.
It's a.
Cam like that one.
Big old belly laugh. Spanish. He did say. So does anybody understand the magnitude of what he said?
That's so funny. Like hola, he's like, yeah, that's what I put.
Yeah, and I knew it wasn't because I can tell. I know his mannerisms. I knew he was lying. I was
through his teeth.
I was like,
I'm like, show me.
He's like, no, I said it.
And then I wanted to see the spelling.
I was like, Shane, you don't even know how to spell that word. Mm-hmm. And all he wrote was Spanish.
Just Spanish. Like,
count it.
You know what's funny?
Shane does whatever he wants. I mean, he just bought 300 cases of soda yesterday.
So KB, I got to tell this story.
Please do. Because when we were at the Oscars, it was just
it stole the show.
Unbelievable.
So I'll call him my buddy. He's like one of my Twitter besties, right?
He's your resource.
Constantly taking care of me, lets me know a lot, right? So
is that Bacon guy?
No, that's John.
Because John reached out to me yesterday about chicken.
The $1 a pound?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, John.
So John. So John, I compartmentalize everybody, right? So John's the guy that gets the main grocery stores. Like the bigger names,
like the Hy-Vees, the Bakers.
Because I'm not always Severe's my Baker's guy.
Okay.
John's my Hy-Vee guy, and Boyce is my Fairway and Family Fare guy. Mm-hmm. So K Bizzle, tell me this isn't Shane. So Boyce sends me a deal yesterday because we've been on this soda thing. Soda's expensive. It's come up for like 3 weeks in a row for whatever.
And it started because of Fit Soda when you brought me in because I'm trying to get off of soda, which hasn't gone well.
I certainly blame Boyce. He sent this. So Boyce sent me a deal yesterday. So it was Fairway's got sweet deals. Oh, right. It's Pepsi, Coke, or 7-Up products. Buy 3, get 3 free. And I was like, wow. I didn't
read 3 free. Yeah. Oh my! I thought it was 1. I didn't read the 3. I missed that.
Buy 3, get 3 free.
Yeah,
so
a deal.
I know 2 soda junkies.
Me,
my Ace Boone right here, and Shane Shillashank. And Shane's super cheap, right? He just was like, "Oh, I just paid $2 for a 2-liter, and I wanted the cherry strawberry Dr. Pepper, and it was
which he's the only guy I know that still buys 2 liters.
$6.99. Shane's buying whatever's cheap. So I put them in a group text. I sent them the coupon. I even walked. Did you see I had to babysit Shane? Hey, there's multiple locations. The closest one to you, I think, is this. Because when I sent Shane the coupon, he goes, I may have to go after rush hour. Like he's in Los Angeles
right away.
Or something,
yeah.
right?
Yeah, like, oh, no, I got to wait 45 minutes and then I can go.
So typical Shane response, right? I may get up and go after rush hour, right? Heaven forbid there's more than 12 cars, right? And you live on Dodge Street, like big deal. You cross 120th, you're good.
Yeah, you walk.
Right? So I said, hey, this is probably the closest one, whatever. So I didn't think much of it. Two hours later, I'm putting this on Twitter. I don't care if he's embarrassed or not. So 2 hours later, my man Shane sends us a picture of him grocery shopping. And he has.
Get the exact number. Count how many cases.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So he paid one extra. He has 10 cases of pop, a bag of ice, and 2 boxes of Cheez-Its.
And one is Cheez-It Grooves.
Now, listen, Shane lives by himself. Okay, at least as far as we know.
Yeah, he's planning for the apocalypse.
Bro, this is something, it's like he's getting ready for graduation.
I asked if he was having a Memorial Day party.
And he goes, and so AR-15 goes, you having a Memorial Day party? My goodness. And Shane goes, no, I just like a little variety.
He's going to have no room in his
There's no room for anything else. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, it's stocked.
Not a chance.
Not a chance.
How do you get lunch meat in here, Shane? And lunch meat's small.
No, my man's still buying Carl Buddick. Did you ever used to buy Carl Buddick?
No.
Shane
Budding seems like a Braunschweiger guy.
Like a buck a bag.
No, that's me.
Is it you?
Dude, Braunschweiger is the
Not
deal.
me.
You're a hater.
Yeah,
little cheddar cheese and a little mustard.
No, not for me.
Dude, I almost came off the top rope on my kid yesterday. We're packing because he had to be at the airport this morning.
Lay the elbow down.
This dude's 17 talking about, Dad, can I get a couple of sandwiches when I get out of the shower? I'm like, who doesn't know how to make sandwiches? Meanwhile, Micah's like,
hey, is he enabled because you get him Little King before basketball games?
So funny thing about that is they sent me, I'm on their text chain. They're like, hey, haven't seen you in a while. I'm like, shoot, we're not in season.
Hey, hit me up back in November.
Dude, but the deals are legit though.
Are they good? I almost went there yesterday.
People sleep on Little Kings. Little King is fire. Cam, are you a sandwich guy?
Dude, I get those texts every Monday from Little King. I'm all about it.
Hey, so did I tell you how I didn't know how to scan the QR code on my phone? No. And the guy, this is a funny story. So I gave a kid my phone. I handed it to him through the drive-through window. I'm like, man, I can't figure this out. He's like, here, give it here. He goes, this is Android. So I was like, yeah, whatever, dude.
Get your man.
I was like,
get your man.
I was like, yeah, whatever, dude. Just help me here. Like I'm this dude. You can't see this on camera probably, but the scan code is like on the deal. And Cam, I'm like this. Out my window, about to fall through the drive-through, trying to do the QR code, and I can't get it. So I give. Shut up. Stop it. I mean, I'm halfway out this bad boy, right? I'm like leaning over.
I just imagine the people behind you, like holding onto their steering.
So it was a moving truck, and they could barely get through, and they're in tears. It's 2 young guys. I'm not even going to say the company because if it's not King's Movers, I ain't doing it. So it's whatever. So I just finally give the dude my phone because I'm panicking, right? So he fixes it. And man, don't you know, like 3 months later. So this was like a couple weeks ago. We were having this conversation. Jay was talking about one of her students. And she goes, yeah, such and such. He works at Lil King because his parents own it. And I go, putting 2 and 2 together. I go, that's the dude I gave my phone to fix the QR code. And he totally hooked it up.
Oh, that's
so
awesome.
I get these alerts like every 3 days. Hey, BOGO, And by the way, did I tell you I didn't know what BOGO meant until like a year ago?
No, Ashley
2 years
didn't
ago
know about it either.
So it was 2 years ago. I asked Severe on air. I go,
Ashley,
I go, hey, this is gonna sound stupid, but what is BOGO? And he looked at, typical Severe fashion, like embarrassed me.
He's like,
how old are you again?
I talked to him yesterday, and I go, hey, we want to go golfing with you. He goes, I don't golf. I'm like, well, DB said you would go with us. I'm like, well, you can just sit in the cart and drink. I don't care either. He goes, I'm not leaving the house. I said, oh, well, no wonder DB likes you so much because he doesn't want to leave the house either.
So what we like to, when we hang out, it's, do you want to come over and watch games? We're not going anywhere.
That's great.
Dude, he's fantastic. Isn't he hilarious?
Really awesome guy, down to earth.
Yeah. And people think he's like short and mean. He's really not. It's his defense mechanism to keep you from talking to him. So it's like, but anyway, I got to put this on Twitter. So Blame Boys.
Buy one, get one.
Yeah.
Can you finish that part of the story?
I didn't know what it meant.
Oh.
So they send me these things all the time. And yet, so Monday it was half off any numbers 1 through 6 with chips and a drink. So it was like $5.50. I contemplated it, but I was like, nah. I'm loaded up on salami. I'm saving up for I have like 1,000 birthdays plus graduation coming up. I'm like, I'm not eating a sandwich.
It could be worse about the buy one, get one story. You could be Ashley in this moment. We were sitting on the couch and she was trying to order some type of pre-workout or recovery powder, whatever it is, protein. And
here's Severe again.
Is he everywhere? He's like omniscient.
He just called me.
Is it omnipotent or omniscient? Which one is it? Which one is when you're everywhere? Is it omniscient?
Omnipotent.
I thought that was all knowing.
I think so. I don't know. Omnipotent. That's what it is.
That is having unlimited power. Omnipotent.
At some point, we're going to do sports.
Maybe.
Which one is? I think it's omnipresent. Is it?
Omnipresent. No.
Okay.
Knowing everything?
Yeah.
Omniscient.
Okay. When is it when you're everywhere?
Okay.
It's got to be omnipresent because he's just, look. Hey, you didn't know we were so much fun.
Okay. This is the best day of my life.
Right? Yeah, that's it. You got it.
Cam,
omnipresent.
I'm funny.
Omnipresent. You nailed it.
So is he omnipresent? Like this dude is like on me.
So I want to just tell you this last point.
Do your thing.
And so Ashley calls the company and she's like doing it all online. And she's like showing me her phone. She's like, it's not taking the deal. And she had to figure out what BOGO meant. And I'm like, it means buy one, get one. I think she thought BOGO meant just free. Like she just gets it for free. And she's like, why are they making me pay? And she called the company to ask if the BOGO deal was still active. And I go, Ash, BOGO is buy one, get one. BOGO.
I had no idea. It's fine. I mean, Ash, don't feel bad. It's a lot of us.
No wonder you guys get along.
just a couple of kids. Oh, Lord. I got to tweet this picture out. I'm getting distracted.
Oh, well, here, while you do that, I'll set up the show. We're talking
do you want to set up the show? We should probably set up the show.
Yeah. We're talking to Mike Schaefer at 8 o'clock today. We will follow that up at 9 with Mike Rooney. So we have a trio or a duo of M's so far. Mike Rooney, ESPN college baseball analyst and writer for D1 Baseball. And then we'll add one more M to the party. We'll go M to the third and talk to Matt Vrzal to close things off at 9:45, which oddly enough, we were going to try to go to Pisons after the event yesterday.
Because you thought there was dinner too, right? I thought there was dinner.
Well, so I messed up. There was food at the happy hour.
Right.
But I thought that was like hors d'oeuvres. But that ended up being the food at the event.
Did you see all the people like on the walk by? So like as people were leaving, they set the extra food out. And people were just taking it, walking out of the door.
That's amazing. I did not see that.
And the lady was just shaking her head. And she's like, it's paid for. Don't care.
But she's probably like, these people still eating.
I was like,
but he closed early for graduation, so we couldn't go. He had some graduation party.
Yeah. I'm trying to get a couple of my guys hired, but I think I'm just going to bring them here.
Do it.
Yeah, because if he's going to be pot committed and train you, You're going to have to work some Saturdays in the fall. So I think sometimes he thinks that rules out our football guys. But you can ask him why he thought he had the bat signal and had to just show up at my house, and I didn't even see him. That's how tunnel visioned I am around my place. Didn't pay attention to anything. This big old truck's probably sitting outside my front yard. No idea. But I did screen some young lady that was knocking on my door yesterday.
Oh, was she holding an like
Clipboard?
iPad or clipboard?
Yeah.
She ended up making it to our house, and I saw her on our Ring doorbell.
Yeah. So Mike, you know how you can see the TV through the front little window in the door? Yeah, you can think I'm home. I'm not answering. It's 5:30.
Don't you think I'm eating 7:45?
Don't you think I'm eating dinner? And listen, I understand she's trying to make a living, but like I'm eating. I wasn't yesterday because I'm not having dinner, but it's 5:30.
Do no solicitor stickers ever mean anything anymore?
I don't know, but if I didn't have two little chump dogs, I would get a beware of dogs thing. But
right. You can borrow Molly anytime
people know
you
there's
need.
nothing tough about me. They're like, yeah, this dude's lying.
I have 2 bulldogs.
Beware of what?
But they're Frenchies, and they're really sweet, and they snuggle me.
This dude's afraid of roller coasters. He ain't got no dogs.
Oh, all right. When we come back, we will get into sports.
There was baseball.
At least we'll try to get into sports.
What happens when a slide piece doesn't slide?
Well,
it leaves the yard.
What happens when a lightning delay shuts everything down?
And Kugler gets to tell jokes.
We'll be back.
Rogers and Benning will be back in 5 minutes. Rogers and Benning will be back in 4 minutes. Rogers and Benning will be back in 3 minutes. Rogers and Benning will be back in 2 minutes. Rogers and Benning. We'll be back in 1 minute. Rogers and Benning will be back in 30 seconds. Coffee and Cream with Rogers and Benning on Hail Varsity Radio.
David, I see you. I see you on StreamYard. Thanks for commenting. I got the hat from Alumni Hall. He asked where the Nebraska hat came from. And Alumni Hall is the place to get it. And if you would like to get a hat, go check it out. Go check out Alumni Hall. You can get 10% off in store if you're student, faculty, or military. They have the best and largest selection of all apparel for the whole family. And you can check them out at alumnihall.com. Isn't it funny how we just like speak things into existence?
I'm telling you, it's the omni word.
Omnipresent. Now he's actually present.
No, let's go to my guy. This ought to be good. As we welcome in Apostrophe L. What's up, buddy?
Apostrophe
Let me tell you something. I got in so much trouble last night at the event, and you never know why. So every single time one of the things came up, I'd lean over to Chris and I'd be like, I didn't vote for that person. I didn't vote for that team. And she's like, you can't say that stuff. And I said, like Tommy Lee Jones in The Fugitive, I don't care. That person shouldn't be winning. That's not who I voted for. And she was getting all mad. So that was my night last night on the way home. There was no conversation on the way home last night because I was in trouble.
You're in the doghouse.
Hey, she's tough though. She is a cold shot. She does.
But she's a mental health therapist. She's listening to crap all day from people that got bigger problems than me.
Yeah.
And
she
got no time for me. Got no time for me at all.
Hey, now
so
every person that you voted for, or every, whatever it was, moment.
You voted for Magnum TA. You voted for Tristan, right?
I voted for the moment. I got Tristan.
Okay.
For team, how do you not go for an undefeated basketball team that dominated the way they did all season in Bellevue West? I had to vote for them. Yeah. Right.
Yep.
And the media people, who else could I vote for but Adam Kruger? No, I'm just joking.
Hey, and Stu was in typical Stu fashion. He was so bad. He didn't even open the envelope all the way. He was like, and the media, Tom Chattel. I was like, oh yeah, that was a lot of intrigue on that one.
Well, he knew who it was because he had inside information. But yeah, that's a hard one though. Because Adam really does bust his butt. That dude works really hard.
So what I was going to say if I would have won, I was going to say it's about time someone recognizes Adam Kruger for his work. Because as you know, I've always liked him, and he doesn't say much.
Nope, he's very quiet.
He just minds his own business, but he's really good at his job.
And he likes the show. I talked to him yesterday.
And it's a hard job. I've always liked him.
You're not surprised by this, but he didn't speak to me for a year because I said on a show, I had my boy Ben, who used to work at Channel 3, who now is in New York. He was co-host with me. And I said, has there ever been a man more square? Adam Kruger's so square, he's round. And he got mad that I said that and didn't talk to me for like a year.
Oh, he held a grudge.
Come on, man.
Do
you know the best thing about you that people have to understand is at some point you'll let everybody have it. It's just part of the deal, right? You just can't be thin-skinned because you're.
Let me tell you about my morning this morning. So I got up at 5, right? Yep. Got up at 5, made sausage gravy because last day of school, so made sausage gravy. Took my shower, got dressed, went to Scooters. I had to get $25 gift cards. $25 gift cards.
Wait, $25?
No,
20
no, $5. Yep.
Okay.
$5 20 times.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I felt bad for the lady. She got to scan every one of them and put $5 in. But my wife makes the kids bring a card for each of the teachers, the nurse, the bus driver, all of that, right? So I had to go get these.
That's nice.
$25. I get those. I come back. I make the biscuits. I get all the cards put in, all the grist cards put into the actual cards the kids filled out last night. Get everything going. Boys are eating. My wife comes down. She's like, "What you been doing all morning?" I'm like, "What have I been doing all morning? You see food on the table. You see gift cards bought. You see holes in the garage from last night."
Hey, I gotta ask because it's almost June. What color is your grass?
Oh, bro, I have never watered that grass. I've been there since what year is this? I've been there since 2004. I have never watered the grass one time. It is a combination of weed, dandelion, stuff I've never seen before. And you know what? The fugitive, I don't care. The last thing I'm worried about is grass. Unless I'm smoking it, I'm not cutting. I don't care about it. And it's like, who cares? These people spend so much time cutting their grass and fertilizing. I'm like, don't you have anything else to do? I could be trying to watch Succession and hating the show. I could be doing something like that. But no, people out there cutting their grass. No, it's still green because it's all those weeds are green.
Right. All right. So since it's just Michael's severe hour, are you bothered by what's going on with some of these series and not knowing how to end or when to end, or is it just part of the times?
I'm sad. I think you're talking about the NBA. I'm sad because
no. Like television shows.
Oh, series. Oh, yeah. So I've talked about this with you before. The British do it well, right? They'll have a limited series. It'll be 6 episodes and they're out and they're not doing it anymore. No matter how successful it is, they're out. But Americans, we don't know how to end anything.
Nope.
There's so many shows that should be 1 season, and instead they end up being 6. And by the last 2, they're horrible. Even some of my favorite shows of all time, you see that happen. No, I'm with you on that. Now, first of all, it's almost impossible for me to watch Succession. There's 2 characters on there that I literally cannot stand, so I fast forward through their parts.
Oh my gosh!
So I don't quite know what's going on.
When they get on,
I miss whole segment.
You think you're principled? He's the worst.
I can't wait. They're horrible. They're horrible people, and I can't watch the show. And it's not like I don't So my favorite movie, one of my favorite movies of all time, is There Will Be Blood. And at the end of that movie, there is no one redeemable, and I'm cool with that. But the way these people act the whole time, it's disgusting. The old man hit a kid with a can in the head. It took me a month to come back to the show for that. And I was like, no, he hit the kid with a can in the head.
Was it like a soda can, a can of beans?
So Succession is overrated. People talk about this show like it is like The Wire on steroids.
I think it's about watching people be miserable. I think people like watching other people miserable. And everybody on the show is miserable, right? Now, I will say the only quality thing about that show is the daughter, her backside is amazing. I don't know if you've seen that, but they do
really good calves.
They get a cutaway of her every time they get a chance. Every time they get a chance of her getting up from a chair or like walking across, like, let's lower the camera a little bit more. And
fantastic heels.
Yeah. Whatever you're talking about. She does a great job with her squats. Her squat lunge game is outstanding.
Right.
But anyway,
she works out her hammies.
Hey,
she's in good shape.
Dude, he's wild. Listen, so Andrew and I always go back and forth about TikTok, and we had lunch together the other day, and you uttered the famous phrase, "My TikTok's not like your TikTok."
It's not. I tell Kristen all the time. She's like, "Did you see so and so on TikTok?" I'm like, "No, I didn't. I don't have any dogs or cats or chickens."
What's on your algorithm?
My stuff is foul, but it doesn't involve chickens. Okay? It's the same at all. I was actually telling jokes last night, Dan. I mean, come on. What was that? The 4 jokes?
Yeah.
The learner guy?
Hey, See, I'm a big fan of his because he supported. I used to run that nonprofit, Pacific Pals.
Yeah.
And Lerner and Noddle are really, really good friends. So I like Jay. I like Jay a ton. Like that's just him though. But the foul, I thought the foul joke was good.
I thought the shortstop joke was good.
The umpire strikes back one was not good.
No.
The shortstop one was good. A shortstop between second and third.
Right. That's a good dad joke. What about Curly's giving everybody some love and then goes, yeah, those are the people that asked me to say their name.
I sent an email to Lindsay this morning apologizing for Curly because I should have reinforced it even more that we wanted to limit to 5 minutes. Yep. I tried. I told him a couple different times, and I don't know how long he went, but when he was like, I got one more story to tell, or maybe two, I was like, oh my god.
Hey, so how long did you have to cut down, or how much did you have to cut down when you had him on Let It Fly?
Oh, I didn't have to worry about it because we can go as long as we want. So he went a good 35 minutes. And then Houston went like 10. So it was like, he's funny. Curly tells great stories. We talked about your dad for like a good 10 minutes during that whole thing, what he did to him and all that stuff and what he meant to the community. And so, that's the perfect form for Curly. The non-perfect form is accepting an award with a 5-minute limitation.
Right.
But he will never.
Go ahead.
Nobody's going to. He will never beat Amon Green, though. No one will ever beat Amon Green. They stopped Amon Green after a half an hour, and Amon Green had just reached his junior year of high school.
No one will top this call on a Friday. Apostrophe, you're the best,
Severe, man. Thanks.
Rogers and Benning will be back in 4 minutes. Rogers and Benning will be back in 3 minutes. Rogers and Benning will be back in 2 minutes. Rogers and Benning. We'll be back in 1 minute. Rogers and Benning will be back in 30 seconds. Coffee and Cream with Rogers and Benning on Hail Varsity Radio.
Still laughing coming out of
I'm
short segment in the hour.
I'm laughing at all the comments,
the reactions,
yes,
right?
Yes. T-Mac and Aaron degenerate Aaron couldn't be more opposite. Aaron's like, eject. T-Mac's like, geez, man. So, yeah, he hasn't changed a bit.
Ken on YouTube goes, for a minute, I thought DB was going to reach for his inhaler.
I should have brought it.
Shaking it up.
Dude, it's just, I mean, you know what's funny is he's not exaggerating when like things make him mad. Like he's gonna cut you off for a while. Mm-hmm. So if like these characters, I bet it did take him a second to come back to the show. Like, I'm not watching this. These people are horrible. So he reminds me a lot of Robbie. Very strong opinions, got a lot of conviction. Robbie doesn't like watching people be miserable either. Like he's just not about that life, right? I mean, the dude thinks kids are a tough hang, right? It's like that he does. He's like, yeah, I'm gonna do something.
You're talking
different.
about him or Sauter now?
Oh man, well, yeah, him too. How about his act last night?
Oh man,
he's a nut job.
I couldn't believe he decided to stand up that whole time.
He's like, yeah, how do I get over to the stage? Like, walk, man.
I thought Woodard was going to take a shot at Sauter because when he walked up there, he's like, yeah, didn't expect the 65-year-old to take this long. And I'm like, well, if you watch Sauter walk up to the stage, like he did have knee surgery.
Who got there first? The start of the Nebraska after the weather delay or Mike Sauter? I'll take the weather delay.
I'll take the over.
Dude, how about how you had no clue what time that thing was coming back if you didn't follow Nebraska?
Mm-hmm. And they were the only page that said, hey, we're going to be back at 10. And that was even like 3 till 10.
Yeah.
Like when I was looking for it, you would more than likely think, hey, it's going to be on the conference page. Mm-hmm. Wasn't there. Then I went to some of the beat writer pages. Didn't see it there either. So I'm like,
did you check Googler?
I did not.
Yeah.
And I should have.
He's nails. But he's been through these before, so he's
right. When
he's not making jokes about it, he's pretty.
And I was talking to my brother. We were on the phone last night talking about him coming up for the CWS, and I'm like, yeah, I'm just waiting for the Nebraska game to come back on. And then when it came back on, he was still on the phone with me, and I'm like, oh, because I told him to turn on Big Ten, and he's 30 seconds ahead of me because he's watching it live, and I'm streaming it on my phone, and I go, oh, did you just see Shanneman just plow right into the dugout?
So how about it being like a game of inches? That was a game of like 12 inches, right?
Mm-hmm.
If they make that play,
game extended. So I go, oh my goodness, did you see the pitcher just topple over in the dugout? He looks at the phone and goes, you're not going to like this next part.
I mean, Kamenska kept him in it. Hawkins was good. Shanneman looked like he was ready to deal, and it was just like, what just happened? But I've said this forever. I've said it even a little more about Shanneman because he's such a slide piece guy. When those sliders don't slide, I don't know what it is about a slider, but they typically leave the yard.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, LaRusso is it's a good job of hitting a hanger
and hitting it on the barrel.
But he barreled that thing up and you're just like,
again, though, one of those balls, like, did it look like it was going to go? Like,
no,
it looked like he got underneath
his
it.
swing didn't look like it was going to go. No, I know.
It just carried, and as you said yesterday, the Gulf Stream of the Missouri River.
But it's that alley. It's the exact same spot. So there must be something happening there where those ball
just takes flight in the air and just keeps carrying.
Exact same spot that we saw Fisher go. It just doesn't look like those balls are going, and it just kept going. Now the one that your guy hit from Iowa, his second 3-run homer, that one, I thought that the park wasn't holding that.
That was smoked.
Dude. How about hitting a double that gets to the wall after the third bounce? How hard do you have to hit a ball? The bases loaded clearing double.
I'm there.
That thing was crushed to only be about 16 feet high. I was like, holy smoke.
Tink.
You can say he was cheated to left center. He wasn't cutting that thing off regard.
No.
That was a P-rocket.
It was a screamer. It was a screamer. Now,
and you should have stuck with your Hawkeyes.
I should have.
Why'd you let me talk you off of it?
Well, so it was Tuesday, we were talking to Vogel, I think, and he had mentioned Iowa, and I'm like, yeah, but I kind of like Indiana. And I'm like, but Iowa did score 13 runs, and I'm like, do I trust the mercy? I'm pulled the Shane probably when he's looking at all the soda in the store, like, do I get?
Dude, was that not wild though?
Do I probably get all 7?
I like a little variety.
I like a little variety, yeah, indeed. No, so we were talking about being like passionate about things, and like, you know, you've mentioned at least twice already this morning how principled I am, and if I get stuck on something, like I really get stuck on it until somebody talks me off a ledge. More times than not, it's you. But
hey, don't be mad that he talked to you like that. It's the principle of hey man, it's fine. It's kind of heat of the moment. But I'm pissed. Hey man, it's okay. It wasn't personal. A couple hours later, yeah, I'm good.
And this may be an unpopular opinion, not maybe to the state, but just in general to baseball. I don't think that Charlie Fisher leaned into that pitch. And so here's my point before you go off.
I'm not.
Okay, before you say something.
The floor is yours, Senator.
I want to know, was it a lean or was it just his stance? Because when Charlie Fisher stands in the box, he crowds the plate. He has a closed stance, toe up to the corner of the box. When that ball came in, if you watch other at-bats of Fisher,
your delivery is sick.
He bounces a bit.
Yeah.
Like he's just that type of guy. Now, are you trying to reach base at any moment against a Maryland team who you probably are thinking like, hey, we need to get runners on to put the pressure on? I get it. Was there something in the back of his mind that says, hey, I'm going to let this pitch hit me? Maybe. But I didn't see the elbow move from his stance. It may have bounced, but it didn't move in.
Let me ask you something.
It didn't move out.
Is there, if they would have said did not make an attempt to get out of the way,
I would have agreed.
Versus lean.
Yes.
Because he didn't lean. He changed planes.
Mm-hmm. He bounced.
He just dropped.
Correct. I am more with that, but everything was he leaned into the pitch. And I'm like, no, he didn't.
So if you would have watched that with no volume,
right? I would have been in shock if I would have seen closed captioning say lean.
So if you'd have watched that with no volume and you see him get plunked and then come back, would you have wondered what happened? Because over the broadcast, both folks thought that he, quote unquote, air quote, leaned. Did that sway you at all? Because
if I would have watched it without volume,
which is how I went back and watched,
I would have assumed
the Loma fight.
Right. I would have assumed that they said he didn't get out of the way or make an effort to get out of the way.
The lean thing was throwing you.
Right.
I get it. Because
that's just him. Like when he sits in there,
they've been hit 100 times. Right. So, and I do think, I don't know if I'm with you, but I'm not.
You're not against me.
I'm not against it either, right? I would have been cool either way, I guess. I just think there's something about a hitter where you learn how to take a pitch that's going to hit you, right? Like
and that's one of them.
So you kind of give with it. Like I get all of that because, I mean, you've been there, right? Unless it hits you up around the ears or in the small of the back, you know how to take pitches. Sometimes when you spin away and it's like you get the pounding of the meat, that's like, oh,
thud.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's between my shoulder blades. Those hurt. But outside of that, like, you do learn how to absorb.
So
pitches.
I almost wonder, too, is because it was an off-speed pitch, it took a while to get there.
Yeah,
when I say
it wasn't very hard, right?
Right.
Like,
and so is that why people were claiming, hey, he leaned into it or whatever? Because if it were a fastball, you would have said, oh, he couldn't get out of the way in time.
I understand.
But because it was an off-speed pitch and you give him 13 miles an hour or whatever it is off, and now he can move.
So that's probably the truest part of this whole discussion was because it didn't have a ton of velocity, relatively speaking. I mean, nobody wants to get hit with something that's 78 mile an hour, right? I mean, that's still pretty
But if you
good.
see a curveball, you're like, I'll take first base.
Right. So it's like,
and in that moment, you're doing anything to reach.
How about how Coach Bolt's expression never changed?
Yeah, he acted like, yeah, I kind of figured.
You know, and I think that's the purist in him.
Right.
He just doesn't make a ton of excuses. Although I wondered if he did Coach Bolt, KB, do you have when Junior was mic'd, do you have the piece where his little kiddo was mic'd up? Play this for me. When's the last time you heard somebody use the word scooch?
It's been a while.
Let it rip, Cam. He's so patient.
Dad, should I scooch down on righties?
Scooch.
Should I step down on righties? Should I step down on righties?
At the Big Ten Network, we
How
push the envelope.
about Coach Bolt? What?
Hey,
use your words.
Listen,
raise your voice.
He went from scooch
to
step to louder step.
Uh-huh.
But my favorite part of that whole deal, not that he used the word scooch because that's up there, he said righties.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me that's not a baseball kid.
You grew up in a baseball household.
Yeah, righties. Should I scooch down on righties?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you might want to stay out of the way there, kiddo. You don't want one sprayed this way.
Oh.
Look, cutie pie. We'll get to that. And how about
we absolutely will.
We got to 61 in a row for Matthews, and he did it the hard way.
He worked his way on.
Last at bat. Didn't try to do too much with it. Typical Matthews. 61 in a row.
We will change gears and talk with Mike Schaefer after the break. Stick around. More CNC.
Rogers and Benning will be back in 4 minutes. Rogers and Benning will be back in 3 minutes. Rogers and Benning will be back in 2 minutes. Rogers and Benning will be back in 1 minute. Rogers and Benning will be back in 30 seconds. Coffee and Cream on Hail Varsity Radio with Andrew Rogers and Damon Benning.
Hey, top of the hour here on Coffee and Cream in the morning on Hail Varsity Radio, powered by Currency 8 a.m. Wherever you find us, whether that's on 590 ESPN Radio here in Omaha. We are live on Twitter. We are live on YouTube. And we appreciate having you wherever you can join us. We'll be on KFOR in Lincoln starting at 9 o'clock. And let's bring in our first guest of the morning.
It seems like it because we've been laughing for 3 hours.
Yeah, and that feels like I didn't go to sleep last night. And I'm sure it feels like you didn't go to sleep
I didn't,
either.
So it's
so
totally
what
fine.
hour of the day? It's 5 o'clock somewhere, right?
Yeah.
That'll be at 10 o'clock in the morning for me. It's 5 o'clock somewhere. Let's bring in Mike Schaefer. He is with us now via StreamYard. So if you're watching on YouTube, you can see him there. Mike Schaefer, Nebraska football and recruiting for 24/7 Sports at Mike J. Schaefer on Twitter. Mike, good morning.
Good morning, guys.
Greatest beard in sports media. What's up, buddy? When they have an award for that for the Oscars?
I don't know that it's an Oscars award. I don't know that it's an award really anywhere, but be happy to submit. I'm actually I'm going to get a beard trim today, so it'll be a lot smaller. I feel like.
Will Shelby approve?
She likes the beard.
Yeah, I would assume so.
Yeah, so
personality.
But it's summer and it's too much. Like I gotta rein it in.
Okay.
My chin hasn't seen sunlight since 2017, so
you're worried about getting lobstered.
Yeah, I think my face is starting to dry out, so I feel like I probably need to take some steps to prevent that from happening.
A lot going on.
Hey, Shape, we were talking to Severe earlier on this morning, and he had mentioned how he made sausage gravy, which looked phenomenal on Twitter. But I want to go back to when you shared your pizzas earlier this week.
The Lunchables?
And the backlash you received.
and Shape, I mean, full disclosure, when I'm listening to or I'm reading that thread, what I thought was absolute comedy is you couldn't care less, right? Like, you know what's coming. It's trial and error. You wouldn't even let me shame you into not eating boneless chicken wings, right? Like you got some conviction. You're like Teflon.
Yeah, well, you understand when you post anything on social media, it opens yourself up for commentary from people who have, opinions that feel like
who are right, right?
So, yeah. Sometimes, sure. Sometimes just are correct. But no, I mean, we wanted to try it. Shelby really wants a pizza oven, and so it's like, well, we don't want to drop the $300 for a pizza oven at the moment. So we have seen enough posts about people attempting pizzas on the Blackstone, and we basically, I think we've eaten like 4 meals off of that thing out of the last 6-7 days. So we're just kind of on a Blackstone kick. So it's basically just trying different stuff. And the pizza is really fascinating because it's trying to figure out the heat level exactly for the crusts and to make sure you're like warming the toppings. Pretty difficult.
Yeah, the crust gets done in a hurry.
Yeah.
So I think
have you ever tried
pizza,
one of those lids?
Those pizza, yeah.
Like one of those pan lids?
Yeah.
Over?
We definitely covered it. So that's kind of like helps melt the cheese and everything on top. But it's trying to figure out like, because, you know, we burnt the bottom a fair amount. Shelby was fine with it. She's a little more.
There's that internet again.
Kmart internet.
All right, we're waiting for it to load.
This suspense is killing me. I want to know if Shelby likes.
No, he was gonna say probably Shelby is a little more patient.
I'm back. I don't know what happened there.
There he is. All right, you were on when Shelby likes the dark crust.
Yes. Yeah, and I was just saying, I'm not. I'm a little more particular with it. Like I'm a little bit more high maintenance, a little bit more fancy, I suppose.
Shafe, let me ask you something, because Mr. Principal over here is struggling with the term lean into pitches. And I asked him, I said, if they don't say lean, are you okay? And I think he actually kind of is. Does that need, not getting out of the way of pitches, does that need a better definition, or were you vibing with how that was called last night?
I was okay with it, mostly because I'm blanking on the name now. It's the 5-hole hitter. He hit the Fisher. Yeah, he hit the home run the other day.
Sweet Chuck.
He's like Anthony Rizzo, completely over the inner half of that plate. Like
that's what I'm saying. His stance
his elbow is in the strike zone. So even if his elbow gets hit, in my mind, it should be a strike. So I wasn't.
As the former Columbus Discover pitcher, really, Shafe?
Well,
that was a ball.
I hit a lot of batters. I have a full understanding of how this works.
You and Nebraska both.
So you know, it's tough though, because he's clearly over the plate right there, but also, you know, he can stand there because he's not out of the batter's box. So like, what are you supposed to do? But I didn't have any issue with it. It was a tough game for Nebraska last night. I mean, they had opportunities to put across the second run and they just could not get that done. I actually felt like they were somewhat fortunate to even be in extra innings there. I can't remember the reliever that came in, and it felt like all 3 of the outs he got were just absolutely crushed. And it was Hawkins, I think.
Yeah,
he comes in, and he gets 3 outs, and they get a move to the next inning. But it felt like in all 3 situations, Maryland just teed that up. So it felt like Nebraska had to push one across in the 9th or the 10th to put some pressure back on Maryland, and they just were not able to do that.
And he was fine in the zone. Like, he was pumping. I think he saw 4 batters, only threw 12 pitches. Like,
I mean,
he was right is, so they were taking their yaks.
They're still outs, but you know, that first one you thought was going to leave the yard. They zoom in on the guy running around first, and you see his reaction, like he can't believe he just flew out to the deepest part of center field. Even the ground out to Matthews, I felt like was hit pretty hard. But yeah, I mean, it seemed like Nebraska had to push one across because Maryland's offense, it just felt like they were getting better swings. I mean, the reliever for Maryland really kind of shut Nebraska down for the most part. And for 2 straight games, they haven't gotten a lot of hits. They've gotten a lot of walks and a lot of guys hit by pitches. So they have a lot of traffic on the bases, but there's not like they have gotten particularly good swings. So today, against Michigan State, you'd like to see that offense have a better day overall. I mean, they really haven't had. I mean, you've had 2 home runs and you know, a handful of other hits. They really haven't put the ball in play a ton over those last 2 days. So you'd like to see that change if they're going to have any chance of getting to Saturday. And then Saturday is just going to be a giant. You know, you gotta figure it out somehow.
Now
throw them all.
Kind of the Will Bolt way, though. to take more pitches at this point. I mean, this is what he wanted out of his team. So I think we're kind of seeing the evolution of the Nebraska offense as he would like it as he coaches. Because in the second inning when they got their first run?
Yeah.
And they did it by getting hit by a pitch, by walking, by sacrifice bunting. By
That
hitting
was a Tom Maminsky inning right there. I mean,
right. Well, I think Dean threw 104 pitches through 6 1/3. Like he was having to work.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's not that they aren't having good plans up there. They just have to get better results with the actual bat. Like, if you're going to put up crooked numbers in an inning, you got to get the ball out of the infield. Like, I mean, there's no question about that. And they weren't really able to do that against Maryland.
Did it seem like on just 4 hits that they'd left 11 on base?
No.
Because the day before, they only had 7 hits and left 12 on base, and you're like, okay, I could see that they were drawing walks.
That's what I mean, though. They're not coming through when they have guys on base, and sometimes it's sequencing, sometimes it's just bad luck. But it just felt like Nebraska had to push something across in the 9th or the 10th if they were going to win that game.
A good number showed out to the Chuck yesterday. Something I brought up with Brunsey too yesterday had to. It was more centered around what Colorado was doing with their ticket sales, and I kind of want to ask you because you're such a
opinionated individual. You
can that's a great way to put it. I was going to say like an enthusiastic individual.
Tactful. You're going to be tactful. That's fine. You know.
Yeah, exactly. So Colorado obviously scared about seeing the sea of Nebraska red during the first home game of Deion's career in Buff Country. Tickets right now, no less. I didn't check today. This was yesterday. No less than 400, right?
Yeah.
So are Nebraska fans spending the money $400? Like, are you spending $400 to go to this game? Because before it was, hey, Nebraska, crashed the site. But now that they raised the price, if you're a Nebraska fan, or do you think Nebraska fans are paying that price?
Well, if you think about it, there's the people that go to all the bowl games and they haven't had a bowl game in 6 years. They've got some extra money lying around for that. So, I mean, I guess you could kind of view it in that sense. I think some fans are going to show up there. I think that they're, I'd be shocked if they don't have 40% Nebraska people there. I mean, it's other than maybe the Michigan game, it's maybe the most marquee game of the season, and it's an opportunity to go out and travel to a place where you can hopefully catch a good football game and obviously have a lot of fun in Colorado. So, I mean, I think, and it's drivable. Like you don't have to fly out there, so you can save some money in other ways. If you haven't already booked a hotel, good luck. Maybe look for a campground sticker.
Place to set up your tent.
Because I think, and they do that a lot in Colorado. I'll just leave that as a commentary there. So
enthusiastic.
It's a situation where I still expect about 40% Nebraska fans there. I really do. And we'll see kind of what happens with the prices. I think they want those tickets sold more than they want to enforce the idiocy of trying to keep Nebraska fans out. I mean,
contract somehow.
Yeah, they want money. So we'll see if it stays at that price and how things kind of bounce around.
Hey, so Schaefer, obviously with the Kayla news this week, a local guy, a quarterback nonetheless, and then you add that to a deep 2024 class. How soon will a guy that likes to actually be at games and watch high school talent to form his opinions need to schedule to see everyone in this 2024 class this fall?
I haven't even looked at the football schedule yet.
I'm shocked.
The difficult thing for me is I know I'm going to be traveling more covering Nebraska. So like you have that first Thursday night, like they're going to be in Minnesota. So I don't know that I'll be at a game that Thursday, but hopefully maybe that Friday we're back, go to that. Then the next week, Colorado. So it's just kind of a early season schedule is sort of going to be a bit of a mess, but I think I'm planning on hitting some passing league games here at the start of June. I'll probably be at the MG camp so I can see a couple teams that way and some players that way. You just got to get creative with it. But the goal is always to see everybody at least once during the football season that I can drive to that's a commit. So, Then if they end up with Carter Nelson, I'll have to figure out where I'm going to go watch Ainsworth play.
You and Andrew
I tried to figure that out.
Games within 3 hours.
I believe we got, at least on my page, I had 2 different spots.
I think Kurt sent you the schedule.
Hey, real quickly, anybody that's going to make the trek to watch Carter Nelson play, make sure that the game that you're going to, the time of the start, because they'll play some afternoon 2:30 games.
Yes, they will.
And then, I may or may not have rolled into O'Neill at like 5:45 and the game was over last year. That may or may not have happened. I don't know. We're just going to throw that out there as an example of something that could occur if you're not, minding every detail. And you just assume
whenever they want.
Hey,
you assume Fridays mean Friday nights under the lights, but some places don't have lights.
Yep, some places it's at 4.
Schaefer, you like I said, and I say this all the time, at least once every month, but because you do like to watch and form opinions, how do you kind of reconcile in your head what your eyes tell you, what you've seen, versus being in the industry where you get rankings and people assess values? Like, you don't strike me as the type of guy that plays the game, but you do know your industry. How do you reconcile what's in your head that your eyes have seen versus what the composite and the numbers say?
I don't really think about the rankings. I mean, so it starts there. Like, it's not, I don't have to be involved in those conversations. I will pass along thoughts or video or whatever to Alan True and to the guys on our evaluation team. And if they choose to use it, great. If they choose not to, there's nothing I can do. I mean, and there's times where I've definitely gone to bat both ways, where it's been like, hey, I think we have this kid too high, or hey, this kid's too low. We need to bump him up. He's going to be someone that's going to play at the Power 5 level. He needs to be higher than an 82. So, it's worked both ways, but a lot of it is I don't concern myself with it a whole bunch. I mean, and I know that's not what people want to hear, but honestly, I mean, you don't want me ranking these kids because I'm not the kind of guy that what I'm watching for is almost more results, oriented than it is the actual process of someone's knee bend and, how much wiggle they have in their hips. I honestly can't tell you that from the sidelines. Like when I'm one of the mouth breathers that's going to sit there and watch the ball more than I am everything else. So like, you don't want me on your evaluation team. So for me, it's a little bit more results oriented, but the same thing, it can be true. You can watch someone and get a good view of how they are athletically, even if you're not sitting there trying to evaluate them on a scale of where they rank, across high school football in this state. Like, I sometimes feel like that's a pretty thankless job because what they're asked to do and what you're going to base them on are 2 different things.
You're the anti-Colonel Jessup. We don't want you on that wall. We don't need you on that wall.
Nobody wants me evaluating their players. We'll put it that way.
Shave, along the same lines of recruiting and K-line, we had a question pop up.
Kaylin.
Is it Kaylin or K-line?
Kaylin.
I thought we settled on line.
Daniel Kaylin.
Kaylin.
Is it Kaylin?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm pretty sure. If we go back,
like Kato Kaylin, right?
Could have sworn.
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Kaylin.
Yes.
Does Andrew know who Kato is?
Did you follow the? No, wasn't born. You were born in 92, right?
No, 97.
Oh, Claude had mercy. Nope, no idea about the OJ trial.
DK, sorry for the mispronunciation. But I'll
the offense taken that he could be insinuated of being 30, 31, or 30 years old.
Did you see how he looked at me though? He said,
No.
I didn't go that hard, Schaefer. I didn't go that hard. Maybe.
No.
Hey, do you envision more successful flips like we saw with Kaylin, or do you think the savviness behind the work is too tough to pull off multiple times?
I think that was a pretty specific situation. And I said this on other radio programs. I said this on our podcast. I feel like not enough credit has been given to all parties involved for making that happen. Like, there's been this sort of whitewashing of the whole background that led up to the situation where, Daniel Kaylin would have been within his rights. And I think people would have understood if you've been like, you know what? this school and this fan base has kind of passed me over 3 times in the last couple of years. I don't know if I need to go here, but he, to his credit, swallowed his pride a bit and accepted the fact that this was the opportunity in front of him and it's what he wanted. And so I think that's pretty great. I don't know that you're going to find that everywhere. And I don't know that it's going to be as easy as it was to find someone who's just willing to admit that, they weren't the number one choice at the position. So it's going to be kind of situationally dependent. I don't know that the other guy committed right now. The other 2 committed elsewhere from the state of Nebraska, Teddy Rizak or Eric Ingwerson. I don't look for them to flip.
You're not going to make up an Eric Ingwerson story?
I don't believe in making up stories. That's not what we do at Husker 24/7. We report the news and the facts, and also some opinions along the way.
I can tell you right now, his dad would appreciate that.
So I don't know that in-state you're going to see some flips. I mean, I could see where you have some guys that committed elsewhere that they're able to get in for visits, that you get excited. If they build some momentum during the season, you could see some stuff there. You could maybe see some flips in November and December. But I'm not looking for a lot of that right now. As I look at kind of the official visit list of guys coming in, it's a lot of uncommitted guys. So I don't know that it's going to be a ton of flips, but maybe this is something, we kind of look at in July and you can kind of target, like maybe these are some of the guys to watch as we head towards the season, that their interest in Nebraska could change or could exponentially grow.
How much credit do you give, Nebraska for staying in the moment, right? Because the narrative was after spring, coach ruled, hey, I'm not going to I'm not a portal guy. I'm not going to bring in a ton of guys. I think we're good on the offensive line. Knack obviously is on campus and he comes, but he'll tell you, Coach Rule will tell you, listen, he's a 4 to play 4 guy. So it's basically like
a high school recruit.
Correct. Right. So you can reconcile that in your head without hitting panic. Like, I thought he said he wasn't going to portal. Like he's a 4 to play 4 guy. And he comes in with a pretty good nucleus of O-line, D-line in this 2023 class.
Yeah, I equated it to, you're walking along minding your own business and you find like $5-10 on the ground. Like that's kind of what it is. It's not life-changing. It's not going to change the complexity of the entire class, but you found a 4 for 4. David's losing his mind over this.
Yeah,
a 4 for 4.
Your analogies kill me.
You put on an old jacket and you reach into the pocket and there's $5 or $10. Like that's what it is. That's what
I did find $4 in my back pocket the other day.
You never know.
He said,
"It's never know."
But hey, you'll take it.
You never know what that money could go to. It could really help you out to something bigger someday. Like maybe you're throwing that in on an investment and then it becomes something else. But that's what Tyler Knack feels like to me. I mean, I think it's found money. I think it's, no reason to be overly skeptical of it and no reason to think that it means that a fortune is along the way. But it's an opportunity to grow your offensive line room. It's someone that gives them a little bit of depth there at left tackle, which I think has kind of been precarious this whole offseason, especially with Teddy Prohaska not practicing most of the spring. I love Turner Corcoran. I'm tired of seeing him at left tackle. I just don't think that fits for him. And so if you're in a situation where Prohaska, again, isn't able to get through a season, maybe Tyler Knack is in position that he can play left tackle for you. And you didn't have that previously. I mean, we were talking to Gunnar Gatula at left tackle this spring, and I think he probably needs more seasoning. So I just look at it as, found money and it's good for Nebraska to move forward. I don't know that there's much more with it.
Hey, Schaefer, still about 2 minutes here, but I want to ask, we opened the week about the news coming with Kevin Warren and, Tony Petitti saying that there's still more work to be done with contracts and things. And he was receiving backlash. Kevin Warren was receiving backlash for what he had put in place. First off, give your reaction or even overreaction by the schools and fans. And secondly, a big piece of that deal was playing late games, primetime games in November. And I just kind of want to know, why wouldn't teams want to play, or why wouldn't that excite more programs to play a primetime November game? Are we really going to stay hung up on like health and travel restrictions?
I don't understand the unwillingness to play November primetime games. I mean, I would think that it's just a sort of a pact that you kind of have to make with the idea that This is part of a TV contract. You're playing when those TV schedules fit. And what you're trying to do is also generate money for your institution. I mean, I don't understand it. To me, as a fan, it's always great when your team is playing on, Monday Night Football or Sunday Night Football. It feels bigger. It feels like a big deal. And we talk all the time around here about how people always want the night games at Nebraska and kind of what that sort of feels like. So I understand it gets a little colder in November, but I have just really been amazed at watching the mental gymnastics of people. College football is played outside almost universally. Like, it's played in elements. Like, we don't have to pretend like it's not going to also be cold in the middle of November at noon. Nebraska played in the snow at Camp Randall at an 11 a.m. kick. Like, starting the game at 6 isn't dramatically different than that in terms of, shielding people from the elements or safety or whatever else. So I don't really understand that. Beyond the rest of it, it's just kind of fun fodder of, the people that dislike Kevin Warren adding to their tomato pile that they can lob at him. But he can't hurt you anymore. And ultimately, none of us really care about the TV contract besides just the details of it. But it doesn't really affect us a ton. So if they end up with slightly less money in the long haul, whatever, they came out as bandits anyways. I mean, there's a lot of it is just sort of getting your shots in on Kevin Warren because you're running out of time to do so. Like, that's sort
right.
of what it felt like.
Pure entertainment from Mike Schaefer. We appreciate you, man.
Schaefer.
All right, guys, have a good one.
More CNC after the break.
Rogers and Benning will be back in 5 minutes. Rogers and Benning will be back in 4 minutes. Rogers and Benning will be back in 3 minutes. Rogers and Benning will be back in 2 minutes. Rogers and Benning. We'll be back in 1 minute. Rogers and Benning will be back in 30 seconds. Coffee and Cream with Rogers and Benning on Hail Varsity Radio.
Hey, welcome back. Coffee and Cream in the morning on Hail Varsity Radio, powered by Currency. Damon Benning, Andrew Rogers, happy to have you with us for another great show here on a Friday. And as we talk a lot of college baseball, I want to take a moment and talk a little bit more college baseball because the College World Series kickoff party at Omaha Design Center is coming soon. It's the opening day celebration, outdoor pre-party experience with live DJ and yard games. You can catch the games inside there. You can have your own bathroom, some AC. They'll have game day food and drinks with a fully stocked bar. And all you have to do is reserve your kickoff party tickets now for $20 a person to be a part of that event. Go to omahaeventgroup.ticketleap.com, and you can be at Friday's event, June 16th at Omaha Design Center. Kickoff party begins at 4 p.m. We talked a little bit about Iowa baseball, too, and the success they've been having, and we just came across something on Twitter. Gary Barta expected to retire.
Yeah, stepping down. So that's interesting because that has been the right-hand man of one coach, Kirk Ferentz.
Mm-hmm. He's played a lot of cleanup for that guy.
Yeah, so you wonder if
all the gray hairs on his head were caused by Kirk Ferentz.
Sam Cooke, a change gonna come. A change gonna come. I was born by the river.
Keep going. Come on.
No. But anyway, like that's his. I mean, those guys don't ever underestimate the importance of an athletic director and his coaches when it comes to how long or how much you like your job. It's no different than us with the relationship.
What about how long you have your job?
Oh, for sure.
Like not just it's going to drive me away, but if you don't have a good relationship, you could be out.
Yeah, you get a different set of eyes.
How long has Kirk Ferentz been there?
25 years.
Right.
He's the dean.
So you put somebody new in there that
I may be off a year or two.
He and him don't get along. Well, who are you listening to? The athletic director or Kirk Ferentz? You're still listening to the new guy, the athletic director, and Kirk Ferentz may be out within.
Now that may be a little bit of okay. So we're not.
No, I'm not saying right away, but it could take 2-3 years to do that. Even look at this, popped right up. Thomas on YouTube.
24.
Does the Barta retirement mean the Kirk Ferentz era is likely coming to an end within the next 3 years? I don't think 3 years.
Oh, it
could. It absolutely could.
It could. So now, and you know what else what happens? Because I saw this on a couple of visits there. You know, a question that's asked of Coach Ferentz by recruits.
How long are you going
to be here?
Because if he retires, which will most likely happen, right? Versus I'll go to a new team.
Oh, yeah.
So
unless he's like a consultant in the NFL.
Right. So, are you going to be here for my 4 or 5 years of
let the groundswell start for the Iowegians on LeVar Woods becoming the new head coach at Iowa. I hear it all the time over there. For LeVar Woods.
Yeah. And are you a fan of?
Well, I think he's amazing.
Of the follow-up?
I
know he does a great job recruiting, and I know he's dedicated to the people that he wants.
So when Nebraska was looking for a special teams coordinator, I cut and pasted his salary, his accolades, and sent that over to Nebraska 3 years ago. That's how much I think of LeVar was. I was like, it's only this amount. Go get this guy. Dead serious.
Well, with Gary Barta stepping down,
look at their special teams.
Is there another family member that's going to be the athletic director at Iowa?
All of a sudden, Brian's like, oh, poop. But, I mean, he's got to get, 28 points a game?
28 or 24? Or 20? It's somewhere 24 to 28 points a game.
No, it actually matters, though, so I don't want to be flippant about being off.
Okay,
4 points.
You're right.
It's absolutely going to matter. There is zero wiggle room.
It is.
Because he already caught a break that it doesn't have to be what.
Oh, it's 25 points a game.
What the defense or offense helps you score. It's just points per game, right? Mm-hmm. So you get a couple pick sixes or a block punt for a touchdown or something like that. That adds to the 25.
The good news for Brian Ferentz, if you take his average, he has averaged at Iowa 28.2 points per game in 2017, 31.2 in 2018, then 25.8 in 19, and 31.2 in 2020. The only year he went below was in 2021. Before really bottoming out last season.
Yeah,
so
last year.
I guess in the last 2 years. But if he gets back to his earlier track record, he should be fine.
I think Barta's the dean.
Is he?
I think of the ADs in the Big Ten Conference.
So what next there?
So I mean, they're it's like hand in hand.
Right.
That's those two as the face of that football program have been the lock stock. Things get interesting in a hurry. How about that?
Catch me outside. Every time you say how about that, it's all that makes me think of is exactly that.
What's her name again?
I don't remember. She makes a lot of money, or made a lot of money.
I should. Oh, Danielle. Cam. Bruyella.
Bad baby.
Bad baby. Yeah. Little bad baby.
Can you spell bad baby for me?
It's BHABIE.
Yes. Nice work.
Yeah.
You just.
I was following along.
You didn't even have to file through the cabinet to figure that one out.
Photographic memory. Right? No, I was following along a couple years ago when she was suing Dr. Phil for her time that he sent her to the bad kids camp.
Right.
Yeah.
Hey, I see you on YouTube. He goes, Brian should not get credit for defensive TDs. Recalculate without defensive TDs.
No, I know, but remember, they didn't differentiate that in his contract.
But it matters. It matters. 25 points, no matter how he gets there.
There was a good stretch where the defense was outscoring the offense, defense and special teams last year.
And I don't want to take away the fact that because they got 31.2 in whatever year I said, that defense didn't, play into that because obviously football's more than just offense. So if he can get a break by Cooper DeJean catching an interception and taking it to the house every single game,
no,
good on him.
No Van Ness, no Campbell, no Pete Moss, aka Riley Moss. You know what Pete Moss is? It's like the little stuff that looks like algae.
Oh, that's actually it's called Pete.
Yeah,
Pete Moss.
Yeah,
not just Moss.
I think now you're going to force me to think, which it's awful early.
I know what Moss is, but I didn't know it was called Pete Moss.
I'm pretty sure. Like if Davison comes up. Yeah, Pete Moss. It's a plant. PEAT.
Yep, never would have guessed. I just address it as Moss.
How about that?
I'm a big last name guy.
Yeah, you should be in education. I don't know why people in the teaching industry can't use people's first names.
Ever.
Hey, I need Metzler. Hey, team to Metzler. Team to Wayne.
Well, if you have a unique name, I get it.
Like Hassenpfeffer.
But if you have a name like Andrew
Walkowitz,
there's at least 4 of them probably at that school.
Oh, because Rogers is so much more distinguishable.
It is. They're so unique.
Dude, you and Johnny last night had me dying.
I go, hey, best last name at the table.
And wait, is he a D or no D?
He's a D, unfortunately.
Well, Damon,
but fortunately.
It's all about giving him the D.
Oh, is it?
Yes, DB. What do you guys think?
I was thinking DB too.
No, you guys hit the dump button?
No,
D for dump. Dude, did you see the photo I sent you yesterday, though, via text? You were probably at
where? What was the photo? What was the photo?
It was of my shoe. Did
you
you read?
You didn't send me that.
Oh, I sent it to you and Shane.
Oh, I got off that thread.
Yeah, you better hop back on.
Why? What'd I miss?
Close up of my shoe. Let's just say I got.
Oh, you know what? I didn't know what that was. I thought that was like leg hair. What is that?
That is my top of my Cole Haan shoe, my left shoe.
What'd you get on there?
Hey, you can go ahead and read the descriptor that I have there.
Oh, no way!
Swear. There was a little puddle, and I had my feet webbed.
Who urinates that hard with that kind of splatter?
But it wasn't just splat; it was more mist. Like like the mist that comes off the back.
This is
I saw the mist.
This is way too much information. But do you remember what I said 2 days ago walking on stage? How do men miss that great big of a target? I don't understand.
I think it's more when you have to go like your life depends on it.
Stop waiting so long.
It sprays off.
Right? Like, you don't have to wait till the last millisecond.
Let's just say I got some fluid on my really nice shoes.
Did you say anything?
What's I supposed to say?
Bro. I would have. Dude, are you crazy?
It was missed.
That's why you don't do the whole trough thing. I'm telling you, man, I got rules. Stick with me.
We'll be back.
Rogers and Benning will be back in 4 minutes. Varsity Radio. Varsity Radio.
This will swing the bat.
Varsity Radio.
This will swing the bat.
Rogers and Benning will be back in 3 minutes. Rogers and Benning will be back in 2 minutes. Rogers and Benning will be back in 1 minute. Rogers and Benning will be back in 30 seconds. Coffee and Cream with Rogers and Benning on Hail Varsity Radio.
I'm telling the truth. Some people probably don't believe me, but I'm telling the truth. And 515 Day, this guy, he's a G. Let me read you what he says.
I do like him, though. He asked me about the arena in Des Moines, but I don't know how to talk to him because of the comments thing. But you can tell Dave or 515 that arena was amazing. I told you it was amazing.
Oh, yeah, you did.
Yeah, it was spectacular.
Yeah,
but anyway, go ahead.
I'm sure you didn't have this spectacular experience.
I still can't believe you didn't say anything.
If Andrew yells bro, the dude probably turns and gets the fluid down on my leg. My full pant leg. Good call on staying quiet. 515 Dave. Yes.
So
situational awareness, 10 out of 10, he said. Thank you.
Like, what would have to happen, or how traumatized would you have to be paralyzed?
Dude, I was paralyzed in the moment. And the problem is, when you see something so ridiculous, at least for me, sometimes
somebody tinkled on your shoes, though.
Sometimes I just kind of look in disbelief. Like, did this really just happen? But I don't even know if he realized it, because it's not like it was like we talk about golf streams. It wasn't like a golf stream just on the floor, right? It was the miss.
This dude is low-key analyzing how hard the Thunder's coming, man. Like, really?
It was lightning that delayed it.
First of all, there's a lot in this. I'm not trying to have a segment over this because my mom is probably already shaking her head. First of all, who was first, you or him? Who was in there first?
I think he was.
Okay, stop peeing next to people, number one.
Well, there's only 2 urinals.
Wait.
Wait. Yeah, they're going to look at me like, dude, what? Are you scared to take some time?
Because you're not trying to strike up conversation unless you need to say, look, man.
Well, the real problem, I probably buried this point. When there's already fluid on the floor and it's causing me to web my feet, that's problem number one.
Okay.
That's problem number one. But problem number 2 is, like, you don't have to really gut it out. Like, just take your time.
That's what I said. Stop waiting till the last millisecond. 2 of life's greatest mysteries for men. I'm not speaking for women because I don't want to get shut down and be called into a big kids meeting. But why can't you get out of the left lane doing 72 mile an hour? Number one. Why can't you get out of the left lane doing 72 mile an hour? And how do you miss great big old holes? Is beyond me. You walk into places and you're mortified. You're like, how do you miss? Like, make a game out of it. The whole gamification thing. Listen, man, just unroll that thing and be like, whoop, I'm good. Bullseye.
I'm still in disbelief.
Dude, how expensive were your shoes?
Probably $150 to $200.
Yeah, see, first that's another problem. We'll talk about that later. Too much discretionary income.
Hey, wait. I know a ton of people that buy the Nike Air Maxes just because they got the Nike Air Maxes all the way.
You're going to get your Cole Haan.
And I'm going to get my Cole Haan so people can get their Nike Air Maxes.
My man tinkled on your shoes and you didn't say a word.
Man, I was like, you used the best word, paralyzed. It's because whenever something happens that is just so unbelievable, in my head, I'm having the conversation with myself. I don't have it out loud. I have it with myself. Like, can you, my little friend upstairs is like, do you believe this guy?
I'm telling you.
And I'm like nodding back, like,
stop using, just don't do it. Wait.
Don't go to the bathroom.
I'm telling you, man. I'm weird. You'll see. We'll travel together. You'll be like, this dude is out there. But I have my reasons. Stop using the bathroom. First of all, you're inviting conversation. Second of all, apparently you're inviting tinkle on your shoes.
How am I inviting?
Because it's confined spaces. There's only a couple things. You got to scout, right? Are there multiple stalls? Is there an open stall?
There was none.
I
walked into a stall that's
what about the place?
I didn't turn around. I didn't make a U-turn.
Oh, you went to the one where they sit down?
Well, yeah. Like, are you talking about like the handicap stall?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So somebody was in there?
Yeah.
You couldn't see their legs dangling?
No. So when you're they're not sitting down. They were standing.
Well, if it was Shane.
Right, I'm with you.
They'd have been dangling.
And it was somebody that was above 6 feet in there.
Dude, that's just... It was... You want my other trick? You want my other trick?
Mm-hmm.
Use the family restroom.
And I saw one on the way back to...
It was right by where they were... Yeah, where the bar was.
To the ceremony room. Yep, I saw one right there. Mm-hmm. I looked at it. Don't worry.
By the way,
I had time to take a photo and send it to you. I looked around for everything to be like, how could I have avoided this situation? I could have held it. Right, that was the first thing I thought of. So I didn't have to go that bad, but I just wanted to go before we left.
So I have one more thing to say before we get back to sports. I didn't have time to call you on it because they kept ringing the bell. Did you like how she was playing the wind chimes to go sit our little narrow behinds down last night? 2 minutes. Time to go sit down and have dinner. Get your butt out of the reception area and get to seated so we can start this program. When you said to me, I had a thing of wine, a plastic cup full of wine. And this dude goes
classy.
Right.
Wine, yeah.
You're right.
You get a box with that, or what?
When Johnny Rogers is your bartender, like you're gonna make him serve you,
which was sweet.
So he's like, "Hey, nephew, what's up?" I was like, "Unc, what's going on?" So we're shooting the breeze. So I'm like, fudge, I'm stuck. I'll just have wine. So he asked me the couple different choices. I told him. He handed me like 3 different things before he actually got it right. You can tell that that's a guy that was just helping out. He's not used to doing it because he's like sangria. I was like, man, I didn't say sangria. Anyway, so he gives me the wine, Cam, and so I go back over and see my man AR because he's in the corner holding it down, and I'm like, hey, something, and he goes, I thought you said you don't drink brown. I'm like,
I said dark. Not brown.
No, you said brown.
No, I thought
no,
you said don't drink dark.
Keep it 100.
I did
because I specified. I said it's not brown, and you go, oh, so I'm dark. You don't drink dark.
I don't remember this.
Oh, of course, I do. So I go. It's
sometimes I don't think it's all there.
I said it's wine. It doesn't count. And you looked at me in utter disbelief as though I was making it up. There's no one in America or Italy or France or wherever else they drink wine that would consider wine a dark liquor. It's just
color.
Wine.
But it was all based on color.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah, no, my point is all based on color. You said you wouldn't drink dark things, soda, coffee.
First of all, I said I don't drink anything brown. That was the comment. Okay? Second of all,
pour out that Alani. Tell me if that's not clear.
It is.
If it's orange, see.
It actually looks like
yellow.
what was on your
It's
shoes.
Yellow.
This is not a good flavor.
Is it bad?
Yeah.
I don't even know if I'd like those.
Mimosa?
But it's an energy drink.
Yeah. So can we because that kind of was freaking me out last night. Okay. I want you to know that wine is wine. It's not a color thing. Wine is just wine. I went through a wine phase. Plus, my sister lives.
Why are you whining?
Every day I do. She is close to Napa Valley. So wine is a
wine
thing.
Country.
Yeah, wine is a thing. She's right by the Bay Bridge.
White or red? Is it always red for you?
No.
Okay.
No, as long as it's not dry, I'll take a look at some Chardonnays. I had a wine phase, but then, like most things, I develop a tolerance. So it's like, hey, what happened to that bottle? I don't know.
It was here and now it's there.
It's just too easy to drink.
Right.
So I got off of it. That's all. But I just want you to know, don't ever refer to wine as kind of like people. Don't ever refer to them as being colored. Okay, just
wine is colored. It's either white or red. It's like your jacket. The west side is white and red.
I'm so done with you. Anyway, I'm sorry that you got your Colons.
Thank you. That was the
I was
story.
meaning to tell you that, and I walked away kind of mad. I'm like,
about the wine?
Yes.
You weren't that mad.
A little. I looked at you like, is he messing with me? Like, nobody refers to wine as dark or whatever. It's either red, white, but it's all wine.
Man, I remember things.
I thought you didn't drink dark.
There it is.
Well, you didn't even say hello.
Exact line. No, I dabbed you up first. And then you walked over to Jenny and I.
I was like,
and you got your wine back. I asked Jenny.
I was like, what is going on?
I said
it's
hello.
Wine.
I
wine.
said hello.
No, when I had it and you looked at it.
Yeah, because I had already said hello.
So how do you have the gall or audacity to like get on me about my choice, but you remain silent when a dude tinkles on your shoes?
Do you want to be the guy that talks at the urinal?
If somebody on me, I'm probably going to be like, you serious?
Cam had the best line during the break. He's like, well, now we'll know who's an aggressive peer because it's summertime.
Which, by the way, who thinks of that either?
I don't know. Who thinks if you $10 on the ground that it's comparable to like a recruit?
It's not life-changing, but you'll take it. It's line of the morning.
Or just we're doing it on a Friday. Having some fun.
Yeah, it must be Friday.
When we come back, we will
Lance won severe kicked off the show.
That's also something too. Rooney, he's gonna be on next.
Rogers and Benning will be back in 4 minutes. Rogers and Benning will be back in 3 minutes. Rogers and Benning will be back in 2 minutes. Rogers and Benning. We'll be back in 1 minute. Rogers and Benning will be back in 30 seconds. Coffee and Cream with Rogers and Benning on Hail Varsity Radio.
And Wilmus will swing the bat off the glove of a diving Glasser. Ball caroms to pitch. In the air to left. That ball is well hit. Jesse on the run. Looking up. It is gone. And control of bracket 1 belongs to the Iowa Hawkeyes. And LaRusso sends this one high in the air to left. Sartori going back at the track, leaping up, and it's gone! 22nd home run of the year for Nick LaRusso. And a walk-off winner in the 10th for Maryland.
What's up? Coffee and Cream in the morning. What's up? With Damon Benning and Andrew Rogers. We're live from the H&H Chevrolet stage at Hail Varsity Club.
Kugler the GOAT?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It is gone.
You know, still to this day, I mean, we talked to him one time on the show. Still have yet to meet him in person.
Cougs?
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
I almost was that guy when I was there on, what was it, Wednesday?
Yeah.
Walked into the booth during a, middle of an inning. And
you got stage fright?
I didn't want to be that guy.
See, you're going to get enough. That's twice now. You didn't want to be that guy, and you should have been that guy.
Because if I go in there, now it's like, oh, BTN's like, this guy doesn't belong.
You like baseball?
A lot of people in there. Oh, yeah.
So you belong. You may like baseball more than the Big Ten Conference does.
Good point. Good point. I'll go say hi to him today because I'll be at the ballpark. I'm assuming he's going to be there. Is he calling every game?
Yeah. I think he has nighttime.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Right.
So we'll be there. Let's go to the phones and continue talking college baseball with Mike Rooney, ESPN college baseball analyst and writer for D1 Baseball at Mike_Rooney on Twitter. Mike, good morning.
Good morning. How we doing, guys?
Good. How are you, Mike?
Doing good.
Thank
you.
So I'm kind of joking with Andrew, but not really, right? I thought we may see Petiti here. We do have a baseball exec. I still couldn't figure out what time we were going to come back from the delay. But the Big Ten is broadcasting the Big Ten tournament. I think they like baseball. The sport has grown. Do you like the fact that the conference is seemingly all in with the network to continue to help grow the game?
Yeah, I don't, if I'm being honest, I don't know, it's hard to say, right? Tony Petiti is obviously a big name and worked in Major League Baseball, but, this is a completely different job. I would say, that I think what I'm encouraged about is he's inheriting a very good product. I think the coaches and the players, the Big Ten has always attracted good players. I mean, these are world-class institutions, but it is a critical time. The SEC and the ACC and the Big 12 and the Pac-12 have, the SEC in particular, that, these are conferences in a dead sprint in baseball. And I think the Big Ten has been invested in baseball, but not nearly as passionate as those other leagues. And so it will be very interesting, especially given that the Big Ten is going to have so much more funding to be able to invest in college sports. I guess the bow I'd put on it, the challenge in the Big Ten for me has always been that these schools sponsor so many sports. And, I think about Penn State, which, that job is open right now. And I mean, if I'm not mistaken, they sponsor 30 sports, and that they've really struggled in baseball. And I don't think it's a magical coaching change. I think there are infrastructure type of things that will need to get fixed. So it's a long answer, kind of a non-answer. I'll be very interested to see, because there is real opportunity there. To your point, the sport has grown dramatically over the last 10 years.
Mike, first, I want to take a moment and say I really enjoy the D1 Baseball podcast that you do with Kendall and Aaron and Joe.
Nice.
Really good stuff from you guys. So we're very fortunate to have you on the show. We had Kendall on, we had Aaron on, so it was time to get you on, and then I guess next is Joe.
Nice.
So we're just going in order with you guys.
I love Joe.
But I wanted to say what's been most interesting to me is the SEC. You have LSU a game out from being eliminated after sitting atop the national rankings for the majority of the year. Chalk is holding up, but can it hold? Plus, the 10 seed has made its way to the fourth round. All that being said, whether it's one of the provided or not, what would you say has been the biggest story emerging out of the SEC conference tournament this year?
Yeah, I would say there's two stories for me that really jump out. One is, man, the committee, the selection committee for the NCAA tournament, they are going to have a real, I would imagine they will spend more time talking about Kentucky and South Carolina's hosting chances than any other two teams. It just really, these are really unique resumes. South Carolina has this beautiful team that played great early, and they've been decimated by injury, but yet they still have a top 10 RPI. I believe South Carolina is something like 3-10 in their last 13 games. They're 4-6. If you include the NCAA or the SEC tournament, they went 4-6-1 in their SEC weekends. And then you look at Kentucky, their RPI has been number 1, it's been number 2, it's been number 3. It really hasn't been any worse than that. But they're aggregate 17-16 in the SEC. So, is a 500 team in their own league going to be a host of the NCAA tournament? If we're using RPI, the answer is yes. If we're concerned about that they were just, they were solid in the league, the nation's best league, then the answer is probably no. So I think that is very interesting. And then Alabama and Auburn kind of coming on like gangbusters. The Alabama story is just remarkable.
Unbelievable.
Yeah,
Gambling scandal, coaching fire. Hey, let's play well.
Yeah, incredible, right? I mean, they're a lock to host, and I don't think any of us would be shocked if Alabama made it to Omaha. It's just really crazy.
So let me back up just a little bit to South Carolina, because I know the committees in basketball aren't supposed to take injuries into account, but this Gamecocks team is a shell of who they were a month ago, and the tailspin has been indicative of that. Do you take that into consideration?
Well, I think the way I like to look at it is, and I believe the committee looks at it this way, it's who a lot of times coaches, and I get the perspective, they want to talk about who they've lost for the year and what their team has overcome. To me, that, at the risk of sounding cold, like that's kind of irrelevant. What's relevant is, hey, I'll give you guys a great example. To me, a great example. Oklahoma is on the bubble.
Yep.
Their shortstop, Dakota Harris, is an excellent player, really important player for him. He's back. He's playing every day currently. When he was out, he missed 14 games. They were 5-9. So if I'm evaluating the Oklahoma team that's going to be in the NCAA tournament or not going to be, I can include him and understand their record better. If there's South Carolina, if I would pick on them, their ace, Will Sanders, has been out the last couple weeks, and he is, the rumor is that he'll be available for the regional. I don't think it's fair for the committee to assume that. If he hasn't pitched in the last couple weeks, they have to assume he's not going to pitch in the NCAA tournament. So, I think, and the good news for South Carolina is they're in the tournament. Like, we're not talking about a team that's on the bubble. We're talking about hosting. I think hosting is special, and it's really important. And that's where I'm struggling. Kentucky and South Carolina, I love their teams. They're very capable of getting to Omaha. But for them to be the 7th and 8th SEC hosts, I'm struggling with that, quite honestly. I kind of go back and forth with it.
Mike, speaking of those teams on the bubble, when the 16 regional hosts are announced and the entire NCAA tournament field is revealed Monday, who is that team for you that you think you could hear, but also won't be surprised if you don't hear their name called?
Yeah, the next 48 hours, the bubble will be very interesting. I mean, it's, a lot of teams, you guys have heard all of us say that the bubble is very soft this year, meaning that there are a lot of teams that are, maybe resumes that in past years you'd just be dead out. Right now, you still got a chance. So, the leagues that come to mind right now are the Pac-12, Arizona State is kind of
coming on like gangbusters.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, they really needed that win over Oregon State yesterday. Arizona's kind of hanging around. In the Big 12, we've got 4 teams. I think TCU and Texas Tech have put themselves in good stead. Oklahoma, maybe a little more wobbly, and Kansas State, they played well yesterday, so that was helpful. So you have all these teams that are just kind of hanging around. Is the Colonial going to get a second or third team? Right now there have been not a ton of conference tournament upsets, but you guys know, like, that could change in the blink of an eye. And like, for instance, UConn did end up in the losers bracket in the Big East, and that's, if you're on the bubble, that's problematic.
So, unapologetic North Carolina fan. I've been all in for years, and listen, this is the 3rd year for Forbes, and they're kind of one of those teams you're describing, right? They're coming on. They hammered a good Virginia team yesterday, and we like Virginia, right? It's not just because O'Connor is an Omaha guy. It's just, listen, that he's built them into a monster. But they're playing well at the right time, and I think Forbes has been a little maligned with that fan base, but it's hard to replace a legend like Fox. How do you look at a team like North Carolina in terms of what they're capable of and what they're doing currently?
Yeah, it's interesting. I think Scott Forbes is one of the more popular guys in college baseball, and you're right. Like, replacing a legend like Mike Fox is just, it's I don't know how possible it is. It just, the fan bases always struggle with those transitions. I will say that North Carolina this year is, those loud results for them to run Virginia off the field. For the better days for Virginia, they look like a top 5 team. Now, they have had some fits and starts, but I would say North Carolina is very talented. When you see them play, they certainly look the part. They've been inconsistent on the mound, and that's usually where problems start in baseball. And, Vance Honeycutt hasn't played in probably 6 games now. So
Defensive Player of the Year, Vance Honeycutt.
Yeah, so like, that's
so
kid
good.
That, like, could be a first-round pick next year.
Easily.
It's Bo Jackson playing baseball, and so it'll be interesting. If they get him back and the way they've played this week, they're capable of beating anybody.
Mike Rooney, ESPN college baseball analyst and writer for D1 Baseball, here with us at Mike_Rooney on Twitter. Mike, after having one of their best, if not the best weekend of the baseball season, what do you make of Texas dropping both games in the Big 12
decisively
tournament? Is it valid to call them lifeless and flatlining at the wrong time?
Yeah, I would say I'd say that's pretty harsh.
Okay.
Given that, like here's the thing on Texas. The week, not obviously not this weekend, but last weekend, they were coming out of nowhere to clinch a share of the Big 12 title. If West Virginia's had this magical season, and Texas swept them last weekend in Austin to share the Big 12 title. Right. They I don't know a better word, but Texas kind of ruined West Virginia's chances to host. And this West Virginia team had only lost 3 weekends all year. They were 6-2 in Big 12 series, so that was a huge weekend. I think, I would give David Pierce a lot of credit where they're on this incredible run. 3 of the last 4 years they've been in Omaha, but this year's team had a ton of star players they needed to replace. I mean, there's no Trey Faltini at shortstop or Silas Ardoin at catcher Ivan Melendez winning the Golden Spikes Award. They lost a ton of pitching. And for them to rebuild and still get a share of the league title is pretty impressive. The Texas has one critical challenge. I love their rotation. Their position player group is very, very solid and competent. They just have a very uncertain bullpen, and that's what happened in the game against Kansas. They're kind of commanding the game, and it's going well, and then they give up a grand slam in the seventh inning. And so I think that's the issue for Texas, is it's really uncertain in the seventh, eighth, and ninth, and sometimes it goes okay, and other times, like the game against Kansas, it just implodes on you.
Maybe for different reasons, maybe not. But in the same conference, who do you feel is easier to project, LSU or Florida?
You're talking about like to make a run?
Yeah, because we feel like we know a lot about LSU, and you may not like them after their ace. Mm-hmm. Florida getting healthy, starting to play better, but I don't know if you trust them. So would you rather get the known commodity or the variable that seems to be trending in the right direction?
Yeah, boy, that's a great question. I would say they're kind of like two different sides of the same coin for me. You know, the best version of them looks like they could win the national title, and then you see other versions that looks like, hey, I wouldn't be floored to see them eliminated in a regional. In theory, Florida's pitching is steeper, but it's been very inconsistent. I think these are the two teams that probably have the highest number of future big leaguers on them. And the LSU offense can be just dominant. You know, I think the fact that LSU is not the number one team anymore probably helps them just a tiny bit, although they still are probably the most famous team. And both teams feel hard to sink your teeth into because, you know, Florida's pitching is just outrageously talented, but those kids have some really good outings, and then they have some outings where they'll give up a 5 spot. I probably would pick Florida because it's a little bit more balanced. But I think those two teams will be fascinating because there's a wide range of outcomes for both of them.
Mike, Nebraska has to see Michigan State tonight, and Michigan State, at least in some articles that I read over the course of the season, was a team that people thought could win the Big Ten championship. And then they ended up getting the 8 seed when they got to the tournament. So how worrisome should Nebraska fans be of this Michigan State team, or do you think Nebraska's in a good position to see Maryland once again?
Yeah, I would say, Nebraska, I think to win a conference tournament like with the Big Ten format, it's just grueling, and you have to pack your offense. And I think the good news for Nebraska is they do bring a very good offense. You know, like I would consider that their strength. And so, you know, Michigan State has been a very competent team this year, and you know, they've won a bunch of games. So I think that is, you know, it'll be challenging. Just the thing about the Big Ten tournament is you just have to play great baseball. I mean, there's just I just don't see it as a tournament you can sneak your way through. It's just too many good teams, too many games. You know, I will tell you that Iowa has been really good all year.
Heller's fantastic.
He is, yeah. So I think for Nebraska, Michigan State, no matter which way you slice it, you've got you get your work cut out for you. You know, especially with Iowa and Maryland kind of lurking there. But, you know, again, I get to see Nebraska the final weekend against Penn State, and I like that team. I mean, Bryce Matthews had a magical year. Max Anderson's a heck of a hitter. And so, like a lot of teams, when they get the right pitching, Nebraska can play with anyone. The Big Ten tournament, though, it's always a melee. I mean, it is what a grueling tournament. It's kind of awesome.
Mike, I got to take advantage of your expertise because Vitello, he's polarizing. But how in the world do you explain Tennessee outside of they're horrible on the road?
Yeah, I think the explanation is that, you know, they lost. The position player group is so new. You know, Blake Burke and Christian Moore were just role players last year. Now they're being asked to be like the star players, the foundational players. So, you know, their pitching has a lot of pressure on it. And, you know, Chase Dolander was a kid we were talking about. Could he be the first pick? And that's a big weight to carry around. I think it all boils down to with Tennessee, the position player group is young and new. And I think that's why they probably haven't been as good on the road. Their park is pretty extreme. It's very much a hitter's park. And, that could be part of it too. But I really think it's just maturity. Younger players, you get more wide variation. So Tennessee is very interesting. They will not host, and I don't have a ton of confidence in them on the road. But that said, when you've got that type of pitching, if they get the right draw, it wouldn't shock me at all to wake up in 2 weeks and see them in Omaha. They are a very fascinating team. Kind of like LSU and Florida. The best version of them, best version of Tennessee is an Omaha team, and it wouldn't be like totally jarring to see them go 2-0 in a regional.
Had two of the better ones at one point in Heller and Bakich in the Big Ten. Obviously, Bakich at Clemson now. He's got them making a run in the ACC. If you had to push your chips in a direction, is it the prowess at the plate of the Hurricanes or the totality of the Tigers to make a run?
So you're asking me to pick between Miami and Clemson. Yeah. I would say, so this is interesting. I mean, this will be my dumbest prediction of the all. I'll pick Miami because I just like how balanced their team is. Clemson is fascinating. I mean, and again, Eric Bakich is as good as anybody. Clemson's so fascinating because they lost 5 of their first 7 series.
Yep.
5 of 7.
They have 17 losses.
Yeah.
At number 6.
Yeah, it's crazy. They've not lost since. I mean, they've won 7 straight weekends. What I worry about Clemson is that their best baseball has already been played. Now, I could be wrong about that because they just keep winning and winning and winning and like doing it in emphatic fashion. I like that Miami played a very, very difficult road schedule, at Wake, at Virginia, at Louisville, at North Carolina, at Florida. And they've survived it. It's an older team. It's a lot of the same kids that lost the home regional last year. I think that will serve them well. But yeah, Miami's one of my kind of hunch picks. I really like Miami to get to Omaha this year.
Mike, for those that don't have a team or don't follow college baseball too often and like to pick the underdog, who is your dark horse at this moment in time? Whether it's somebody that you like, the way that they're playing, because you mentioned who's playing best, right? Is Clemson playing their best ball right now?
I kind of like the Miami pick.
Who would be your dark horse that's playing well in the conference tournament and into regional play?
Yeah, so if you wanted to do that, I would say lock into some of the mid-majors. We have some really cool mid-majors this year that have been in a bunch of NCAA tournaments. Like, this is an extreme one, but Army, that they're going to represent the Patriots. They have been to 5 straight NCAA tournaments. Indiana State has had a magical year. Yeah. They've got a kid, Connor Fenlon, who just threw his 4th complete game shutout of the year yesterday.
Wow.
They've got a really neat team. They'll be in their 3rd regional in the last 4 years. Campbell out of the Big South, Connecticut was in Game 3 of the Super Regional last year. DBU transitioned to Conference USA this year and just, dominated the league. Those are the teams that come to mind as far as I think this year, the power teams are not super consistent on the mound, which leaves them a little bit vulnerable. And I think there's a real opportunity there for some upsets in our tournament, kind of similar to basketball. I would also encourage anyone that doesn't have a team. The Wake Forest story is really neat. They've been, they missed 3 straight tournaments just recently, and now they're the number 1 team in the nation. It's kind of been this really remarkable and meticulous rebuild. So Wake's a fun story. That's a team that I think an average fan would really enjoy.
Of kind of the non-traditional approach to how college baseball is being played, is there a team that plays under the radar kind of good defense that you think is really portable? Because it seems like that's overlooked when these teams get to Omaha. And a lot of times I look and it's the teams that can pick it well that find themselves complementing the pitching as a way to win this thing.
Yeah, 2 teams that stand out for me. I mean, I would tell you most of the teams we're talking about play quality defense because that's, that also plays in the regular season. But like 2 teams on the extreme side, I would give you. One would be Boston College. They're having a remarkable year. They've got a chance to host a regional on campus, in New England, which hasn't been done since the 90s. They're just older, solid, they catch the ball, they throw strikes, just very fundamentally sound. Indiana State, who I mentioned a moment ago, is a neat team because they've got some 5th and 6th year upper Midwest kids that are just very solid players. They've also done a nice job recruiting Latin America. They have a shortstop, Randall Diaz from Puerto Rico. Their second baseman is from Venezuela. And so they have this really neat blend of Latin players who bring incredible energy and flair and skill with some older upper Midwest kids who are just super solid and, have that kind of strength that you would think they would have. But their fielding percentage is probably top 10 in the nation right now. They play incredible defense.
Mike, we appreciate your time this morning. Thanks so much, and we look forward to seeing you when you get to Omaha, and we'll talk again soon.
Fantastic, Mike.
All right, boys, be good.
Thanks.
It's Mike Rooney, ESPN baseball college analyst and writer for D1 Baseball. We'll be back with trivia next. If you want to play, 888-638-4876.
Rogers and Benning will be back in 4 minutes. Rogers and Benning will be back in 3 minutes. Rogers and Benning will be back in 2 minutes. Rogers and Benning will be back in 1 minute. Rogers and Benning will be back in 30 seconds. Coffee and Cream with Rogers and Benning on Hail Varsity Radio.
Hey, welcome back. Coffee and Cream in the morning on Hail Varsity Radio, powered by Currency. We're happy to have you with us here on the show. We like giving away things, giving away gift cards, maybe giving away some dollars to Hail Varsity Club. And I'm not going to say that anybody gave anything away here, but I want to tell you what Dyer Law did for one of their clients before we get to trivia. Dyer Law, after days of testimony, the jury awarded their client $3 million in damages, which is huge. Congratulations to the Dyer Law team. You can trust that team to help ensure that your rights are protected and you get the settlement you deserve. Call Dyer Law at 402-393-7529 or visit Dyer.law to chat with trusted professionals about your claim. That's Dyer, D-Y-E-R, .law. Now, it is the law to play trivia on Friday. Right, Cam? Right.
You know
Thanks,
it.
Cam.
I'm here.
There he is. I'm going to actually do something fun with you today, Cam. You're going to be involved in trivia. So I'm going to send you a question. We're going to welcome in Ray. Ray on the phone right now to play against DB. Ray, what's up, man?
It's going good. How are you guys doing?
Oh, we are living the dream. So here's what's going to happen. Normally you hear 3 questions from me, but today I'm going to have Cam butt in. He's going to read question number 2. Sound good? Sounds great. All right. Here we go. I'll read the first question. Cam, you got music?
Sure.
Give me that dun, 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 whatever it is.
The kitchen? You want to go to the kitchen?
I don't remember.
I don't know what it's called.
It's the one we do with 2 for You.
Yeah, perfect.
That one.
Going to the kitchen, baby.
All right, Ray, you ready?
I'm ready.
Let's go. Hey, first question. Who is the only college football team ever to complete the three-peat and the first ever to win the national championship in the AP era in 1936? Is it Minnesota, Army, or Notre Dame?
Go Notre Dame.
All right, Cam, question number 2.
Question 2. Who won the Big Ten Baseball Conference Tournament the first year Nebraska competed and missed the tournament this year? Is it Purdue, Minnesota, or Ohio State?
Go Ohio State.
And Ray, question number 3. The Devils franchise relocated to New Jersey in 1982. The team shared the name of a current MLB team prior to relocation, I should say. What team was that? Was it the Tampa Bay Devil Rays, the Washington Nationals, or the Colorado Rockies?
Tampa Bay Devil Rays.
And the tiebreaker question, Michigan holds the record for the most Big Ten baseball championships over the years. How many do they have?
13.
13. Thank you, Ray. We will send a message to DB to hop back in here. How you feeling, Ray?
I'm feeling about a 1%. That was a lot of shot in the dark.
Uh-oh. That's not good. So if you feel dinged up, maybe you should take your car over to Dingman's Collision Center. That is the only place to take your car if you acquire damages out on the road. And the Dingman's family will take care of you. You can take your car in. Darcy and their team will hook you up. They'll give you the best service. They are the best customer service I've come across in regards to the car business here in Omaha. And there's a close second, but Dingman's is the one on our show, so they get the most love. It's Dingman's Collision Center. DB, what's up?
Hi, buddy.
You excited?
No.
That's the energy I'm looking for.
No, not at all.
All right, Cam, I'll have you read question number 2 again, but do not give DB the answer choices.
No answers. Okay.
Okay. He gets one Hail Mary. He can choose to use it whenever. DB?
Tupac Hail Mary? Come with me.
DB, who is the only college football team ever to complete the three-peat and the first to ever win the national championship in the AP era in 1936? So a lot in there. First to complete the three-peat and first to ever win the national championship in the AP era in 1936?
No way I can use a Hail Mary on number one.
It is a football question.
I got so it's gonna be Notre Dame or Minnesota. Let's go Minnesota.
Cam, question number 2.
All right. Who won the Big Ten Baseball Conference Tournament the first year Nebraska competed and missed the tournament this year?
Ohio State.
Question number...
No. Purdue. Because I think they played it at a makeshift renovated park. It's either Purdue or Ohio State. Come on, DB.
Got to lock it in.
This is every Friday. DB
No,
has,
because
like,
I
he
know
talks
if
himself out of
if I
things.
do the thing, those two schools are going to be in it. So it's not going to help me.
So that's what I'm saying. Every Friday you talk yourself out of.
They played
the
in like
answer.
a makeshift. It's Purdue. I'm going with Purdue.
Okay. And question number 3. The Devils franchise relocated to New Jersey in 1982. The team shared the name of a current MLB team prior to relocation. What team was that?
I'll take a Hail Mary.
Is it the Tampa Bay Devil Rays, the Washington Nationals, or the Colorado Rockies?
Nationals.
And the tiebreaker question, DB. Michigan holds the record for the most Big Ten baseball championships over the years. How many do they have?
I actually know this.
Wow.
Well, it was in my notes. I was doing the broadcast for the CWS.
Oh, so, Ray, unfortunately, you're screwed if it goes to the tiebreaker.
They have 35.
Thank you, DB. Let's go through it.
Well, I remember from 2 years ago. It was Vandy. It was Vandy, Michigan.
But it's good to know that you actually knew the trivia answer. Were the other ones known guesses?
No.
One was known.
This was by far the toughest
set so far.
Yeah, no question. Because you're pretty random. How are you going to ask me about the 30s?
How about that? So, reason I came up with this question was
because you're weird.
I was thinking about Nebraska, and I'm like, well, like they could have won 3 in a row, and they were close. I'm like, has anybody ever won 3 in a row?
Why are you bringing up old stuff? You know, hey.
But I was looking at the numbers on the stadium, and it just had me thinking.
Funny quick story, Ray. So Jason Peter talked to our high school team a couple nights ago. Ray, can you hear me okay? And he goes, somebody asked him his biggest regret, and he goes, yeah, I just wish I would have spoken up a little more, in 1996. He goes, we had some captains. And, our two defensive guys, Jared Tomich and Mike Minner, they weren't very outspoken. I mean, really good players, but sometimes you just need to lead by example. And our offensive guys were Chris Dishman and DB. And, God, when DB's the squirreliest of the bunch, I don't know, guys. Like, I don't know. I just feel like I should have said something.
Hey, it's just like me in the urinal.
So you
had your chance.
Yeah, so I was low-key pissed at him.
You got paralyzed.
Not on his shoes, but I was kind of mad. All right, let's go.
Let's go. It wasn't 1996, but it was 1936 that this team won the first ever national championship in the AP era, and they're the only team ever to complete the three-peat. Is it Minnesota, Army, or Notre Dame? Ray, you said Notre Dame. DB said Minnesota.
Yeah.
The answer
Minnesota.
Is Minnesota.
Let's go. Let's go. I knew it was Notre Dame or Minnesota.
Yeah, and I
didn't even think Army.
The best part is whenever you talk yourself out of the Hail Mary, those answer choices are popping up. And what's great about that is there's so many teams that you could have chosen.
Yeah,
you always find a way to get the 2.
I might need a cushion here because I don't feel confident about these.
Cam, you want to read your question number 2?
Sure. Who won the Big Ten Baseball Conference Tournament the first year Nebraska competed and missed the tournament this year? Purdue, Minnesota, or Ohio State were the 3 options.
Ray said Ohio State.
I knew it was one of these 2.
DB said Purdue. The answer is Purdue.
Yep. Oh. They played it in a city park. It was getting renovated. They played it in a city park.
Nice work.
Let's go, DB.
And the last question, the Devils franchise relocated to New Jersey in 1982. The team shared the name of a current MLB team prior to relocation. What team was that? Was it the Tampa Bay Devil Rays, Washington Nationals, or Colorado Rockies? DB, you said the Nationals. Ray, you said the Devil Rays. It is actually the Colorado Rockies.
Well, that sucks.
Interesting question there. And then DB was on the nose. 35 is the record for Michigan. Their total for Big Ten baseball championships.
Ray may have scored.
Ray, I'm sorry you lost. Couldn't give you the gift card this time, but DB took it home 2-0. Thanks for playing, Ray.
I appreciate playing.
Ray's a stud.
Matt Vrzal coming your way next.
Rogers and Benning will be back in 4 minutes. Rogers and Benning will be back in 3 minutes. Rogers and Benning will be back in 2 minutes. Rogers and Benning will be back in 1 minute. Rogers and Benning will be back in 30 seconds. Coffee and Cream with Rogers and Benning on Hail Varsity Radio. Coffee and Cream on Hail Varsity Radio with Andrew Rogers and Damon Benning. Now let's find out what Matt Vrzal is better at, telling stories or making pizza.
Matt.
Matt's an exceptional young man.
Matt Vrzal.
Happy birthday, Matt.
You know, Matt, he's a tremendous athlete.
Matt Vrzal.
Come on, Matt, I'm with you.
You know, like Matt Vrzal, you're one of the sexiest people in the world, but you're not one of the most beautiful. How did that happen?
Here is Matt Vrzal.
All right, Matt, thank you very much.
Before we get to Matt Vrzal, we do 5 different ad reads just because we know he likes to wait around on hold.
What did he say last week? I'm still trying to figure out why I'm waiting for you guys to listen to do your ad reads.
No, Matt, we skipped them today. We decided, hey, we'll talk to you right away. How you doing, Matt?
Good, boys. Good. You're evolving. Salt and pepper is growing every day.
Hey, why'd you close early for graduation yesterday? I wanted to come by and say hi.
We had some kids that were actually on the graduation thing, so I wanted their coworkers to be able to go. Coworkers to be able to go hang out with them.
Okay.
So was like Crazy Connor in attendance of some people, or was he not on the schedule yesterday?
No, Con was there. Con was out early. Con has got this interesting thing where he's kind of literally conned Alex into this 9 to 7 shift. I'm like, this shift
doesn't
like 7
exist.
p.m. leaving. They're kind of in the shit there, so we kind of need some help. But we get her fixed.
Matt, do you just not give a what, or is that just me? Right? Like, you can't say that.
They'll beep it out. Cam, you got Cam on.
Yeah,
the
we did.
Today.
We got Cam.
Listen, you know what? You know what's funny, Matty? Because you know KB. He's so chill and like used to dealing with muck. He doesn't bat an eye at anything. If that was Shane, he'd have gone up. He'd have got up. Got up and did laps. Cam's like,
he'd have walked outside.
I looked at the boys and like, yeah, you heard that too, right? Okay,
So
I was
what we
making
do,
sure.
when Cam and I do Husker Hangover, and I'll get going on YouTube every football season, every Sunday, 8 to 10. I'll get going, and his finger will twitch every time I cuss. So I know he's practicing.
Yep, he's just preparing for the
He's got
radio.
that finger ready to push the delay.
You heard that, right? Andrew's looking at me. I'm looking at him.
Cam's looking at us.
I'm like, yeah, Cam's got this. Matty just dropping bombs.
How many shows have I done for you guys?
A lot, man.
This is the first one. So your batting average is way higher than others.
Yep, you're in the Hall of Fame.
Hey, listen.
Can I ask him?
Well, for me dropping a cuss word.
Yeah,
that was my first one in all these attempts.
You're good. We love
I know.
Matty. We love Matty.
Matt, I got a question for you because this was something I experienced last night, and I kind of want to know how you would have handled the situation because I think you hold it together well. So say you're in the bathroom and you're at a urinal and there's only 2 urinals there, and somebody comes in or somebody was there next to you and they are peeing like their life depended on it, and the mist came off of the urinal and landed on your nice pair of Cole Haan shoes, and you could see it happen. Would you get paralyzed in the moment, or would you say something right away?
So if I'm understanding the situation right,
somebody peed on your shoes.
You're to stand up, and some guy just came in with a rocket launcher, and the ricochet was getting on your shoes.
Yeah, and it was mist though. It wasn't like drops. It was like you could see the mist coming down and land on the toe of my shoe.
Hey, I mean, I'm like a fan of like built organizations and things. I've read a lot of like Jocko Willink's books. And like, if you're fired on, you got to return fire.
Yeah, but I missed my opportunity. I missed it.
Why do I believe you though?
Well,
this dude's having a sword fight because he's mad.
No, I'm trying to figure out why Andrew's like watching mist falling his shoes.
Me too.
I'm looking down.
Oh, Matty, that's what I said.
No. You guys were missing it. I'm looking down. So you can like just see it kind of happen. Well, first there's a puddle below me, so my shoes are a little like webbed out.
Listen, Andrew, We're not here to judge. You do whatever you do in the bathroom.
Where are you guys looking?
You do in the bathroom.
You guys looking straight up in the air and just guessing?
No, I understand, but how do you not say anything?
Like I said, I got paralyzed in the moment.
What
I couldn't believe it.
Hey, dog. What are you going to say? Hey, dog, your mist is getting on the shoes.
Matt.
Like, there's no response to that.
Matt.
It's kind of an alpha move. Kind of an alpha move by a guy in the other urinal.
Matt, what do you think? First of all, I'm casing out the joint first before I even go in there. But second of all, what do you think I'm doing if somebody pees on my shoes?
Well, I think, number one, you would have never made that point because if they came and stood next to you, you would have stopped.
There it is.
You would have stopped slow, backed away, let them finish, then you would have went back and resumed.
Nail on the head. Nail on the head.
Let's be honest, Damon's not going to the stand-up urinal stall. He's going into the bathroom, like, close the door.
Yeah, like
because in his words, I don't need you looking at my stuff, was what he would say.
Hey, he asked me, Verz. He asked me, why didn't you wait for the guy to leave so you could have all the urinals to yourself?
That's the first thing I thought of.
Who thinks about that when they step up to the plate?
Me. And apparently
David.
Matt knows I would.
I mean, you're not walking up there like, oh, this guy, I know. He
Matt,
looks like a
how many times have I said one of the greatest things about your restroom your restaurant is your restroom? This is after I figured out that the lights came on automatically. Did he tell you how I used to try to go in there and turn on the lights? And it was like, where's the knob?
They're motion sensors.
Yes, Matt, I got that now.
They would shut him off.
He's waving in front of it like, where is it?
Whatever.
Did somebody have to show you how to do that, like the QR code?
Hey, so what? Okay, Matt, I have tunnel vision. So I was telling Drew down how I appreciated you worrying about me the other night, but when I came home, I had no idea that you were in front of my house.
Yeah, just drove right past it. Didn't even acknowledge. Well, here's the thing: like Damon and I, we'll miss each other's calls. We'll fire like a degrading jab at each other, and then we'll just kind of move on.
Yeah, what'd I call you the other day?
So he texted me, call me when you get this text. That's a different parameter. Like that text is never sent.
Right.
So when I did call and nobody answered, I was like, oh, something's going wrong. And so then I only know what I'm like, well, I'm on the way. I'll be at your house shortly.
I mean, that's just a good friend, right?
Yeah, it is a good friend.
And then I pulled in. He just buzzed right past me.
I had no idea. I had tunnel vision. Hey, how'd you like
sitting? Literally, you had to like make eye contact with me as I was parked outside of your driveway.
I should probably pay better attention. Hey, did you like the ribs or no? Be honest.
They were good.
Good.
They were good. They were well done. I don't know the other form of meat you gave me there. The other little slab that was good as well. Seasoning on
that was just a buffalo chicken thigh.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah,
was it out of your fridge?
Yeah.
Did he pull them out of your freezer?
Caleb was mad that one was missing. I told him you ate it, and he goes, "Well, I'm not saying anything." I said, "Yeah, that's probably a good idea." Hey, let me ask you something, Maddie. So Knack is on campus last week. He ends up coming out of the portal. The offensive lineman, KN.
Oh, Utah kid, yeah.
Yes. Utah kid.
Yeah, that's
I gotta speak Vrzal. Yeah, the Utah kid. So the Utah kid winds up on campus and Rule is basically saying, hey, you know what? He's 4 to play 4. He's like getting a 2023 guy. Do you like the way that this first year class of O-line, D-line for him is shaping up?
Okay. I do because it's of such a need. All right. So now my next vision or watch on them is how does the development standard look, right? I don't think any of them are quite ready to play day one, but if they get to the point where they can play game 8, game 7, and they're viable and like really good, then I'm in that. So we'll get a good chance to see how these guys view their plan to develop, because there's some talented guys coming in.
Mm-hmm.
Sammy Sledge ain't no joke,
right?
That he could factor very early. Knudsen, that that kind of douchey attitude that is probably missing to some point on the line, that's the guy. Like, that's the guy that's going to supply it. And everybody, that played against him, oh, he's dirty and he's this and he's that. No. He's not. He's just that guy. Like, he likes stirring it up.
Hey, Verz, what do you think Coach Rule is focused on?
I don't even know if we can be friends.
Real fast, we got about a minute left. What do you think Coach Rule is focused on most to instill early success and maybe issue a domino effect for his first season? Is it focusing on defense leading to the success of everything else, or offense and then leading to the success of everything else?
Neither. He's building human beings right now. He's building confident trust in your brother. We can do this together. Listen, end of the day, whatever play you call or whatever defense you scheme, doesn't matter if your players don't care about each other and they don't want to succeed together. He's got to rewire brains. That's what they're doing right now. The psychology of it there is far more important than any XO, any of that. Because I think there was 12 times that this organization in the past couple of years has been ahead in the fourth quarter, and all 12 of those they lost. Oh, no, sorry. They won the Iowa one. But, you got to have your brain that says if we get to the fourth quarter with a lead, there's no doubt we are winning. We got to rewire these things. All those silly points in times where we shot ourselves in the foot getting a penalty when we were ahead or when we were getting a stop, and then we extend the game on our own recognizance. We don't need to help them. When you rewire the brain and you teach the brain to win, now you can see what will happen. So I say it's more brain than XOs, offense, defense, special teams.
Makes sense. Verz, we appreciate you, man. Thanks so much. We'll talk again next week.
Thanks, Matty.
Hi, boys. Be good.
That'll do it for the week. We'll be back on Monday.
Maybe.
Tuesday.
Maybe.